back-to-back home runs against Brebeuf in sectional play. Number 10, Cody Dowell.
Okay, well.
Next we have number 24, A.J. Ehrlich. A.J. is married to Madeline. They reside in Indianapolis, Indiana. A.J. is currently an occupational therapy student at the University of Indianapolis and is a fulfillment associate at Amazon. A.J.'s favorite memory of his career was throwing a perfect game and a no-hitter in back-to-back starts. Wow. His favorite memory of 2008 was the amount of focus and determination that the team displayed in the batting cages in Crawfordsville the morning of the state championship. There was an indescribable feeling among us that a state title was inevitable and nothing was going to stop us from winning it. It was a moment I will never forget. Number 24, A.J. Ehrlich. Number 29, Austin Evans.
You are on.
Austin is currently dating Allie Morris. He resides in Greenfield, Indiana, and he is a sales rep for County Materials. Austin's favorite memory was being part of 4 great baseball teams in high school. Number 29, Austin Evans. Number 11, Blake Harris. Blake and his wife Allison reside here in Crawfordsville. Blake is a production and logistics specialist at Copper Moon Coffee in Lafayette, Indiana. Blake's favorite memory was his fake bunt hit against West Vigo in the semi-state at Jasper. Number 11, Blake Harris. Number 5, Cameron Hobson. Cameron and his wife Devin reside in Columbus, Ohio. Cameron is a human performance product engineer at Burtech. Cam's favorite memory after the state championship game when we all turned our hats backwards when Coach got on the bus. Cam went on to play at Dayton University and professionally making it to the AAA level with the Seattle Mariners organization. Number 5, Cam Hobson. Number 8, Brett Lynn. Brett and his wife Casey live in Brownsburg, Indiana, and recently welcomed daughter Nora to the family on 3/2/2018. Brett is a senior software engineer at Digital Management LLC. Thinking back on my most memorable times playing baseball at CHS, it is obviously hard to beat the state championship in 2008. I will always remember when we got the final out, running in from center field and being able to see the fans, coaches, and teammates all celebrating. I might have been the last one to the party, but I wouldn't change that. Number 8, Brett Lynn. Number 4, B. Rhett McKinney. Brett and his wife Brianna reside in Indianapolis, Indiana. Brett is a project engineer at Messer Construction. Brett's favorite memory was the rush and excitement that accompanied the state championship run, also for the joy of having an entire city and county, and for that matter, backing us as we made our run for the state title. Number 4, Brett McKinney. Number 12, Josh Rager. Josh and his wife Erin reside in Brownsburg, Indiana. He is currently a medical student at IU School of Medicine. He said the thing he cherishes most about his CHS baseball career was getting to spend a lot of time with my closest friends and competing together at a high level. Number 12, Josh Rager. Now representing number 34, J.D. Rice, is brother Corey Rice. JD passed away in 2016. The Rice family, the most memorable moment was how pumped JD was that he was the one pinch hitting in the state final game. Then, his first at bat, he hit a double. They think he was just a little too pumped up when he got a secondary leadoff on second and almost got picked off. Quentin Anderson then was sent in to pinch run for JD and ended up scoring a run. Then, in his next at bat, he was intentionally walked. Number 34, J.D. Rice. Number 6, Stevie Rice. Stevie is currently on the market, ladies. He resides in Nashville, Tennessee. He is employed with Wheels Up, a private aviation company. Stephen's favorite memories were the back-to-back-to-back home runs versus Brebeuf and the Blake Harris fake bunt triple versus West Vigo. Number 6, Stevie Rice. Stephen also played at Vanderbilt University and was a member of the College World Series national championship team. Number 20, Justin Wright. Justin is also on the market, ladies. He currently resides here in Crawfordsville. He is working for Penguin Random House. His goal for this summer is to work for Halliburton as either a mudlogger or an oil rig in Ohio or a mud engineer in Houston. His favorite memories were when we 10-runned Greensburg in the semi-state, also getting the coaches, including Coach Frodes, to turn their hats around backwards with us on the bus after winning the state championship. Number 20, Justin Wright. Other team members that were not able to be here today. Number 19, Andrew Allen. Number 2, Quentin Anderson. Number 27, Mitchell Ray. Number 9, Jason Spurlock. And number 23, Andrew Swart. The 2008 statistician was Rogie Merriman. Manager, Matt Musselman. Manager, Justin Duggar. Public address, Scott Kincaid, who is represented here today by his son, Christopher. Also public address, myself, Dave Rannard. Video technician, Bob Taylor. The coaching staff for the state champion Athenians the assistants were Ashley Lucas, Brandon Froge, Brett Motes, Tony Bean, Rhett Welliver, and our Hall of Fame head coach, John Froge. Bat Boy was Austin Motes. Athletic Director, Bryce Barton. And Principal, Greg Hunt. Here are a few accomplishments of the 2008 state champions. They were the IHSBCA #1 ranked team in the preseason poll. They went on to have the most wins in school history. They were the Montgomery County champions. They were the Crawfordsville Invitational champions. They were the Sagamore Athletic Conference champions. They were the IHSAA Crawfordsville Sectional champions. They were the IHSAA Regional champions that was held at McCutcheon. They were the IHSAA Semi-State champions at Jasper. And their season concluded with a record of 32 wins and 4 losses. Your 2008 IHSAA Class 3A state champions, the Crawfordsville Athenians. We're going to take just a couple minutes for some pictures. And then we will be moving on to today's starting lineups.
Good morning from Crawfordsville High School.
The Crawfordsville Baseball Boosters would like to thank our current corporate sponsors. They are Carson Jack Gutters, Advanced Office Logistics, Safe Hiring Solutions, Hoosier Heartland State Bank, Brown Motor Sales.
Can you hear me?
Workforce Plus,
You got me out there, Dan?
North Salem State Bank. Thank you to our corporate sponsors. Also, for our guests from Indianapolis, today's game is being broadcast live on YouTube. If you know someone that wasn't able to make it out to the ballpark, give them a call and let them know they can watch the action live as it happens.
1-1-1.
Just barely. Just barely. You got me?
Or if you'd like to watch a replay of today's game, log on to YouTube and subscribe to the Crawfordsville Athletics YouTube channel, and you can enjoy replays and follow the Athenians all season long.
What
Thank you.
Oh. What?
We would also like to note that there will be a reception at 5 p.m. in the CHS Commons for the 2008 state champion team. Families and the public are invited to attend. Displays and memorabilia from the
I got you a little better on that. You got me there?
1-1-1.
Video will be showing, and you can hear comments and stories live from the players. And
Checking, Dan. You got anything on me?
At 5 p.m. in the CHS Commons.
I'm okay, I think.
That's better, yeah.
Well, good morning from Crawfordsville High School. And today the Crawfordsville Athenians, hopefully you have just witnessed the introduction of the 2008 Crawfordsville High School state champions. We're going to the starting lineups right now, Mike, and hope that our fans can hear what's going on.
Yeah, we got
number 3, Michael Ruiz. Batting third, the shortstop, number 10, Tommy Gallagher. Batting fourth, the third baseman, number 12, Jake Baker. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 15, Hank Seymour. Seymour will be hitting for right fielder, number 13, Graham Fisher. Batting sixth, the first baseman, number 19, Ian Kroll. Batting seventh, the starting pitcher, number 24, David Flowers. Batting eighth, the catcher, number 4, Jennifer Oberther. And batting ninth, the left fielder, number 7, Caleb Thomas. The Panthers are coached by Mr. Courtney, always an Athenian, Whitehead. Now here are the starters for your Crawfordsville Athenians. Leading off, the starting pitcher, number 21, Will Kellerman. Batting second, the second baseman, number 5, Carson Scott. Batting third, the third baseman, number 20, Josh Blackburn. Batting cleanup, the right fielder, number 24, Cam Saunders. Batting fifth, the left fielder, number 34, Austin Warren. Batting sixth, the shortstop, number 8, Cale McCarty. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 11, Owen Bennett. Batting eighth, the first baseman, number 19, Sammy Riddle. And batting ninth, the center fielder, number 25, Cade Fitzwater. Your Athenians are coached by Mr. John Froge. He is assisted by Rhett Welliver, Tony Bean, and Daryl Hobson. Today's umpires are Mr. Scott Scooter Mason and Mr. Casey Wright. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the American flag located in right field. At this time, the Crawfordsville Community School Corporation and the IHSAA invite you to please stand and proudly remove your caps as we honor the United States of America. Let's play Athenian Championship Baseball.
Well, welcome back to Crawfordsville High School in the Athenian baseball field. Again, today the Athenians taking on the Panthers from Park Tudor. Park Tudor comes in with a record of 8-11 on the season. Your Athenians come in with a record of 14-9. This is Dan Welliver along with Mike Schubert. We apologize for a little bit of trouble with the audio. Hopefully you're hearing us loud and clear right now. Thanks again to Justin Duggar, who's manning the camera action today. Well, this is a special day today, Mike, honoring the 2008 state champions, and most of us remember that very well.
Yes, I do. I remember that just like it was yesterday. I mean, it was unreal for that team. I got to follow that team for a lot of years, Dan. Happened to have a grandson on that team, so I got started with them as far back as Little League.
And they were pretty good for a lot of years.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
Well, we come into this season with a very young ball club,
right.
And it's been an interesting season watching these kids grow in their skills, and have put together a pretty good season at 14-9. Would like to be a little better conference-wise, but we're above 500 now.
Right.
I believe it's 6-5.
6-5, yes.
3 games remaining, with the Chargers coming into the contest next week. I'm not really sure what days we're playing next week. Are we playing on Monday?
Monday, those games are Monday and Tuesday, and the time change is a little bit. We're playing both those games at 7 instead of 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew there'd been some change. That's why I said I wasn't sure.
Right.
But anyway, and then we play later in the week against Frankfurt. The last conference game of the year there. Well, the Athenians huddling around Will Kellerman out there, who's on the mound for the Athenians today. Will, with a win at Southmont earlier in the week. And we have the leadoff hitter stepping in here.
Yes, Chris Wilson, number 8, playing the center field.
He takes the first pitch down for a ball. Will's had some great games this season, and the very best was at Frankfurt, and a great extra inning win over there at Frankfurt.
Yes,
and,
that was a good win.
That was a pivotal win in conference play, because Frankfurt, even right now, is at the top of the heap there. And so mathematically, the Athenians are still in the race. Here's the pitch, and that's down and in, and the count goes to 3-0. So Will having a little trouble finding the plate right now. Here's the 3-0 right down the middle, strike 1. Here's a dead ball taken up the middle, and that'll be in there for a base hit. Softly hit off the hands there, but found the hole, and so the Panthers have a runner aboard here with nobody out. Top half of inning number 1.
The second baseman, Michael Ruiz.
That'll bring up the second baseman now, Dan. Michael Ruiz.
Here's Will with a throw to first base. Runner back in time. I imagine the leadoff runner may have some pretty good wheels over there.
He's taking a nice lead, too.
Yes, he is. Here's a pitch right down the heart of the plate. Strike 1. So Will getting ahead this time. Throw over once again. Tag put on by Sammy Riddle. Blackburn, McCarty, Scott, and Riddle left to right on your infield. Here's the pitch. This was wide. Here's a line drive to center field. One hop picked up by Fitzwater, quickly in, but Panthers getting something going early here. 2 singles, both of them going up to the middle of the field.
The shortstop, Tommy Gallagher.
Tommy Gallagher, what is his number, Mike?
Number 10.
Number 10, okay.
He's playing shortstop today.
Well, let's see what Coach Whitehead's got him doing. He's swinging and missing on a breaker that went in underneath his hands as he swung through. Here's the pitch, down. Count evens, 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, we've got a visitor up here in a minute. We'll wait a minute, Mike, and you can hand that young man a headphone there. Here's the pitch, taken for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I don't think he misses working on school buses at all. He still gets his fingers into the motor coaches.
Here's the next pitch outside. The count evens, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody down here. Kellerman needing a strikeout even better. Here's a throw to second. They got in behind just a little bit, but not enough daylight to get it out there at second base. Here's a swing and a foul. Dead ball at the plate. Count remains 2-2. There's a breaking ball again, fouled at the plate. Warren, Fitzwater, and Saunders in the outfield, left to right. Again, the 2-2 now. This one stays up and away. So we got a full count now. Will not in the best rhythm right now, but needs a pitch right here. Oh, and that one really got out of his hand bad, and we've got him loaded with nobody out.
Not the way we wanted to start. We got Owen out there trying to calm him down a little bit. We now have Jake Decker,
Baker, I believe it is.
Baker, I'm sorry.
That's my writing. Don't even apologize for my writing. It's just that way.
Okay, Jake Baker, number 12.
So Will Kellerman worked himself into a real situation here. Gets a strike on the outside corner with the fastball. Athenian infield still back all the way around. Kellerman to the plate, swung right back to him. He's going to come home.
That's one. Throw the ball.
Throw the first. Two, a double play. 1, 2, 3. Pitcher's best friend, and quickly eliminates a runner and a real pain in the neck as far as Courtney Whitehead goes. We've seen a little bit of that against the Lebanon Tigers earlier, and the Athenians this week put it on the South Mounties with that double play. Here's a pitch that's taken for a ball. I'm not sure where that was, but anyway, the guy that counts didn't like it, and
this is a DH, Hank Seymour up here now.
Here's the next pitch, and that one's taken for a strike. Did not appear to be as good as the other one, but I've got a bad perspective on things here.
Right, we do.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down. Top of inning number 1. Next pitch popped toward right field. It's going to the
We're gonna get out
line,
of
and
this.
it's caught in fair ground by Cam Saunders. Got over to the line easily and brought it in. Well, Mike, if you'll hand that headset over here, and I'll bring in Mr. Rager. Josh, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to have you here. I haven't seen you in quite a long while,
Yeah.
but like Wellivers, there are a lot of Ragers around, so I have seen some Ragers.
Sure.
Okay, well, how's things going with you?
Good. You know, living in Brownsburg right now. Still working out in school. I'll graduate next year from medical school. I'm at IU in Indianapolis. So
Well,
things are going good. Working hard.
You know, that's great work to pursue, and it does take a while to pursue it and get to the end of the road there. But that's great news to hear. One of my first questions, I guess anybody speaking about this would ask, what is your? And I know we had something on the PA, so we may be repeating. But anyway, what is your most fond memory of that experience in 2008?
Sure. Yeah. I said something pretty general, which was true for the PA announcement. That it was awesome. These were some of my best friends, and I got to play with them for months, and we played super well for a really long time. And that was a blast. I guess specifically the thing I sort of remember most, and it was like the next day in the newspaper, there's a shot, and it's the dugout, everyone in the dugout, and all the Athenian fans above it. And I'm trying to get out of the dugout, but I clinked my legs, and so I'm holding on to the bar of the fence of the dugout, rolling out. And then the other picture in the paper is like me sideways getting on the dog pile. So it's like number 12. He's just this guy floating around, just parallel to the ground, over the whole field. But yeah, that's one of the things I remember.
Okay, well, I tell you, I remember we were starting our webcast that year. First year we ever did baseball webcast. We didn't have the video, but we were doing audio on the thing. And, you know, I'm sitting up there at Victory Field along with the professional guys over there. And it was quite a different perspective for me, too.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, I tell you what, I know I've known your father, grandfather, uncle, the whole family, coached one of your sisters.
Yeah.
And so, I have a lot of respect for the Rager family.
Thank you.
Tell me, where are all those sisters now?
All those sisters, they're all over. Sheila, she's a physical therapist, works in administration at Eskenazi, one of the downtown hospitals. Laura, they each all have children as well. Okay. Sheila has 3, Laura has 2. Laura's a school teacher, and 3rd grade school teacher specifically. That's the notes I'm getting right now. Okay. And then Andra also works in therapy.
There's a base hit up the middle by Will Kellerman to start off the bottom half of inning number 1.
Yeah. And then Andrews also works in therapy at Eskenazi. So
the second baseman, Carson.
Well, you guys sound like you have a little thing in common medically there.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, it's really good to, have you guys all come back today. I'm sure the coach is really pleased to see all of you and hear how you're doing. And it's a great thing to know that young men you've worked with going on and making great things happen in their lives, and really good to have you back.
Yeah, no, it's been great to see all these guys, and like I said, we had so much fun in high school playing on the same team together, and it's good to get us all back. And we had such great mentors and the coaches and everyone else who helped out. So I think we were pretty lucky to have that sort of guidance.
Well, it's an unusual group of coaches, but by the very fact they've been in so long, and then they stayed together so long, And I think obviously that's worked out very well. Well, the other thing I was going to ask you about specifically, I didn't know whether you had been back since we'd changed the field and got this great net up here around there, and the brick from dugout to dugout. This is really one of the greatest high school baseball diamonds in the state.
Definitely.
Here's a bunt laid down onto first base. They get the out at first, but that'll send Will on down to second base. Carson Scott this is a great young player. As you probably not really aware of all of our kids here, but we're playing 4 sophomores most of the time. Carson Scott being one of them, runs very well, great bunter, a lot like your ball club in those years where you could get the ball down.
Yeah.
And we've enjoyed watching them come along this year.
Sure, yeah. It is definitely a complex. I think we called it that when I was in school. We
Right.
called it the complex.
Yep.
But the brick definitely makes it a complex, and the surface has always been incredible here.
Well, and you look out there. Look at that sign out there.
Hey.
State champs 2008.
That's right.
And then the 2011 after that. But that adds just a little bit to the facade
absolutely.
here.
Yeah.
Well,
Good field.
I tell you, Josh, we're sentimentalist, I guess. We think back quite often, talk quite a bit about that 2008 thing. But I thought it was kind of neat, the story you were telling. Here's a base hit. Will have to stop at third base, but Josh Blackburn, a junior player, Josh, pretty flexible. He's played center field most of the time, done a little pitching, but we were having a little trouble with third base, and we moved him in 6-7 games ago, third base, and has done a great job.
Awesome.
So, Josh, really a good all-around player. He now is at first base and Will at third. Well, Josh, I'm going to just open it up and say, you look back and think about the program and everything that's going on here. What would be like your final summation of what's going on here with Crawfordsville baseball?
The first word that comes to mind is just consistency. It seems pretty incredible that year in, year out.
There's a stolen base, and that'll be successful.
Yeah, right on. That each year, it seems like no matter, the town hasn't changed, right? It hasn't gotten any bigger, it hasn't gotten any smaller.
Everything changes a little, but...
Yeah.
I'm going to shut you down for a couple minutes.
Can you get back on?
Yeah.
All right.
Tell them.
All right, we are going to pause for a technical adjustment, and we'll be right back. This happens.
You should be on.
Okay, we're back with the situation. 2 outs, 2 on. Here's the pitch. Warren swings, takes it to right field. That ball is going to drop harmlessly in foul ground. So Warren back to the plate. Athenians threatening here with Will Kellerman down at third base. Josh Blackburn at second. But there are 2 down, so needing some help from Austin Warren. We're sitting here with Josh Rager, and we're going to let him get in a few more words before we let him go. We'll try to finish this inning, Josh.
Yeah, sounds good.
Bring you right back. All right, here's a stretch in the pitch. Swung a line drive, base hit, center field. That's going to bring in 2 runs. So a big RBI swing that time, bringing in a couple of Athenians. And they take a 2-0 lead. So very timely hitting there. I will say we've had some frustration with 2 outs. I remember the game at Frankfurt, which the Athenians eventually did win, but we left a lot of guys on base, Josh, and we're facing a good pitcher up there, and he seemed to get a strikeout when it hurt the Athenians the most. David Flowers, the pitcher for the Panthers, brings it in. Here's a ground ball right out in front of the pitcher, who turns, fires to first base. The tag is made. Apparently he had gotten off the base, but the out is recorded for out number 3.
Scored 2 runs on 3 hits.
But in the bottom half of inning number 1, the Athenians take a 2-0 lead on 2 runs on 3 hits and one runner left on base. So good start here for the Athenians. Well, Josh, you were just about ready to, I guess, make a summation there. You started that.
That's right.
I'd ask you, how you look at this Athenian baseball program as you view it now from maybe a different perspective, but how you've seen it over the years.
Yeah. I think I was sort of saying consistency. I think it's pretty incredible that each year the teams can be this good and have this many moving parts. Even just sort of looking out to the banner out there, 2008, the way we won was our pitching. We had a pitching staff. Like, top 4 pitchers were, maybe top 10 in the state in that class at that time, if not even closer than that. And so that was our game, was, putting the ball in play, getting runners on base, scoring runs. We could keep it to we could keep it to like 2 or 3 runs and probably be okay. That's how good the pitching was.
Yes.
But then, 3 years later, they have this team, and those guys could just hit. The pitching was solid, but they were hitters. Their offense was high-powered. It was a completely different team than what had won 3 years previous to that. And so I think that speaks a lot to the coaching staff and just the way they can adapt and keep putting up winning teams and figuring out the recipe.
Well, Josh, thanks for being here today, first of all. You're going to have a chance to join us with the meal at 5 o'clock?
Yeah, I will be there. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it's good seeing you.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
And keep going in that medical field.
Hey, thanks. I really, really appreciate it. Take care.
Josh Rager, 2008, member of the state champion Crawfordsville High School baseball team. Well, Mike, I apologize. I had a couple guys out of line, but maybe you can get things sit straight. Here's a ball that gets past Sammy Riddle at first base. That'll go as an error. It was a kind of a tough hop, really, but okay, runner on first. We didn't get
that. Was Ian Kroll, number 19. Now we have up David Flowers, number 24, the pitcher, yes.
First pitch inside, ball 1. Kellerman on for his second inning of work. This one flies outside, so he's behind on the count 2-0. Will working himself out of a bases-loaded jam in the first inning with the help of a 1-2-3 double play. Here's a swing and a miss. That pitch right down the heart of the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike. Next pitch, and I'm not sure how it hit him. I would imagine Coach Whitehead would have liked for him to just left that leg a little bit in play.
Just a little bit,
he moved it a little bit, still got hit. Well, Will behind on the count, 3-1 now. Here's the next pitch. Well, ground ball up the middle. Carson Scott has it on to second.
Oh, nice play. Nice play.
And he turns the double play. Scott to McCarty to Riddle. DP'd. Boy, I tell you what, you can get one of those every inning. You're going to be in it, yes. Smiling type pitcher out there.
Yes.
The catcher, Jennifer.
Saves a lot of pitches. Don't know what his pitch count was. We won't bother to keep it up here today necessarily, but I tell you what, he's getting help with that. Well, we've got an unusual young lady
yes, we do.
Playing varsity baseball.
And catching. That's a tough place, you would think, to have a young lady to come into varsity baseball and be a catcher.
Well, Jennifer Oberthur, or Thor, and she's doing a good job. Here's the ball fouled off the right side, so she's behind on the count 0-2. Here's a ground ball right side. Scott is over, has it in hand on to first base. Riddle hauls it in for out number 3. So in the inning,
1 error.
The Panthers come up with no runs on no hits. There was 1 Athenian error, but that was erased. So we go to the bottom half of inning number 2 with the Athenians leading by a score of 2-0. Well, it's not as cloudy, Michael, as it was when
it looks a little better, yes. That's a good sign.
Temperature was at 71 degrees. I imagine it might be up a little bit.
Let's see if it went up a little bit.
71. The wind, last I saw, was out of the west-southwest at 9 miles an hour, which kind of pretty much means here at the Athenian baseball field it's blowing out.
Yeah, yes. We have come up a couple of degrees. I've got 73 degrees right now.
That's all right with me. Well, David Flowers is on for his second inning of work for the Panthers. Courtney Whitehead, one-time Athenian, head coach for the Panthers. I'm not sure how many years Courtney has been doing this, but it's been a while.
He's been there a while, yes.
Yeah, I always think of Courtney when I had him in school and watched him play ball. A really good first baseman.
Good now.
For your Athenians, the catcher, Owen Bennett.
Yes, we've got 7, 8, 9 coming up. Owen Bennett, Sammy Riddle, and Cade Fitzwater.
Here's the first pitch taken down. Athenians lead it here by a score of 2-0. We're in the bottom half of inning number 2. Here's a pitch, foul back. Well, slow. As long as you got action on the field, you kind of keep it there, but when you get breaks, you can swing it over. Yeah. Here's a long drive left field, way back against the fence in one bounce. And on to second base, standing up with a 2-base hit.
Owen Bennett hit. That got out there in a hurry. Double over the left fielder's head.
Good for Owen there because he's struggled a little bit lately, and
yes,
he probably needed that. Well, we've got a pinch runner. Looks like Mr. Martin going on out there to second base.
Courtesy runner at second base is number 29, Andrew.
So Owen Bennett leads it off here in the bottom of the second inning with a 2-base hit.
Yeah, big Sammy Riddle, yes.
Yeah, Sammy Riddle playing first base today. Chance to get an RBI. Here's a pitch taken for a strike on the outside corner. I got McKinney back there.
Yes, we've got Brett McKinney ready to come on here.
Okay, we'll get him in just a minute. Okay. Count 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody down, runner at second base. Pitch fouled off into the Athenian dugout there. Supposed to hit those foul balls in the other dugout, aren't you, Mike?
Yeah, I think you're supposed to, yeah.
So Sammy behind on the count, 1-2. Here's the pitch that hangs high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Andrew Martin leading away from second base. Shortstop slipping in behind, but nothing going that way. Here's a line drive, but foul down the left field line into the Athenian bullpen.
We do have some action going on down there, too. Not sure who it is right now, but.
Well, it's a big week next week starting on Monday. I don't think we wanted to use. Here's a swing and a foul. Yeah, I don't think we wanted to use too many innings out of probably any of our pitchers.
Have any of them, yes. You're right. Be a combination of maybe quite a few today.
I think there was a little discussion about a possible balk right there as the umpire went out and handed the ball to the pitcher.
Yeah, you don't see that very often.
But he was just sending a message.
Right.
As well as handing the ball. But anyway, the count 2-2 on Sammy Riddle. Here's the pitch, swung on ground ball. Again, foul just past Coach Froge at third base. As usual, Coach John Froge down wandering around the area somewhere in the vicinity of the third base coaching box, if anybody knows where. I know one thing. Coach Froge doesn't know where it is.
No.
Coach Welver down at first base, a little bit closer to the coaching box, but also wandering a bit. Here's the 2-2, swung on and fouled off. So Sammy having a good at bat here, keeping things alive. We'll get to Brett McKinney right after this out, Mike.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
I don't know where it's ever going to happen or not. Sammy keeps fouling.
I know it. It may take a while to get Brett on here.
Here's a swing and a miss. Something maybe up out of the zone just a little bit, but Sammy trying to protect.
The center fielder, Cade Fitzwater.
All right, that'll bring up the center fielder, Cade Fitzwater. Welcome, Brett McKinney.
Hey, glad to be here.
You can probably guess one thing I'm going to ask you, but I'll hang on just a second here. No. Flowers with a long pause out there. One down now. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped behind the plate. Catcher Jennifer. You didn't ever have that opportunity, did you, to play against a young lady out there like that?
No, I didn't. I was surprised to see that.
Well, she's done a pretty good job so far.
It's good for the sport, right?
Well, I didn't get a chance to ask it. Here's the pitch, and Cade turned like he was going to lay one down, takes the pitch up. Count evens 1 ball, 1 strike. I didn't get a chance to ask Coach Whitehead if the young lady just wasn't interested in softball, or I assume they have a softball program at Park Tudor. Here's the pitch. Here's the look at that. He's doing some 2008. See that fake butt? Trying to get a hit on that. I mean,
we were.
He heard all that talk, and he thought, "Well, I'm going to see."
We were talking out there on the field. I don't remember that fake bunt.
Oh, okay.
Swing.
Well, I do.
Yeah. For the life of me, I can't remember that.
Yeah. Well, we had another young man that did that some too, but that was a really good move. I mean, you have to have pretty good timing to
absolutely.
Get out and back and get ready to swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. This is taken wide, and the count evens at 2-2. One away with the runner at second base. Well, I will go ahead and ask you, Brett. What is be maybe the greatest memories you have of that 2008 season? Here's a pitch swung on, tapped out in front of the plate. Pitcher Flowers has it onto first base, and he gets the out.
I think. My greatest memory was just the backing that we had from, everyone in the town, and like I said in that, my thing here for that Dave was reading off, it was like even the counties, like north and south. We even got some of my friends from there were really rooting for us, and it was something else driving through downtown Indianapolis and seeing the parents. They were lined up on the street, and some were tailgating, and then you looked up in the stands, and it's like the entire city of Crawfordsville is up there in the stands behind the third base dugout, and it was just unreal. It was awesome.
Here's a line drive off the glove of the first baseman into right field. And so that will bring Martin in with run number 3 for the Athenians. Well, yeah, first baseball championship for Crawfordsville, and we've been playing the game a long time, as your grandfather would tell you.
Yep.
He played, I believe he played in the 40s, and I played in the 50s,
Yep.
and things were quite different back then. We didn't even have a conference. We didn't have a state championship.
Yeah.
You didn't have those kind of things going back then. We so used
Didn't even wear helmets.
No helmets during the bats. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, he was a little bit older than I am.
Uh-huh. Seasoned.
But you know what? We did play baseball together. I bet you didn't know that.
I did not, no.
Yeah. In the old, there was a league called the Ileana League. Right after I got out of high school, the independent league, and Grandpa Ralph was still playing a little bit back then.
Yep.
I got in and played. I don't know how many games that would have been, but he and I chatter baseball quite often. Okay?
Yeah.
Runner at first is going. Here is a swing that I don't know what he's going to call it, a swing or taken, but anyway, the pitch gets by, and runner on down to second base. So Athenians continuing to put on the pressure here in the bottom half of inning number 2. Well, I need to ask you again. I know we had some of this on the PA, but tell us a little about your life now and what you're doing.
Yeah, so I just got married last year, last June, to my wife, Brianna. We live in Indianapolis now. They're on the north side, just north of Broad Ripple in Indianapolis. And we got a little...
there was a little bit of hesitation with what was going on. But actually, the batter was hit, and I don't know, we should be going back to second base, which Courtney Whitehead is pointing out, and that is the call. The batter was hit with a pitch, and that was Carson Scott. So he goes out of the first base. Will remains at second base to bring up the third hitter in the Athenian lineup, which is Blackburn, and Josh Blackburn had an RBI, if I remember right. This lead us off. Anyway, back to Indy. By the way, you have a U-Indy connection?
Yeah, my wife's sister graduated from U-Indy.
I thought somebody told me that.
Yep, she's a occupational therapist.
I have a granddaughter over there right now, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
Okay, here we go with Josh Blackburn stepping in, runners at first and second base with 2 outs. Flowers a long pause, checking the runner, and brings the pitch. It's swung on and fouled back into the net. Well, another thing is, I'll probably ask everybody the same question on this one, but what do you think about the new facade around here?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I was just looking at. This is something else, huh?
Well,
this is nothing like we had.
You didn't get to look out and see a state championship sign.
Well, that's true.
Here's a swing and a miss. Yeah, this netting from dugout to dugout, and the bricking from dugout to dugout, and we have the seating behind home plate, which is really neat. I mean,
it gives you that stadium feel.
Some of us that like the umpires really good too.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But this is something else. It's always, this is always one of the best fields that you'll play on in your high school career. Coach Froge and
pop up right side or catch.
Oh, nice,
Jennifer.
Nice catch.
Comes in and snags that one. So the Athenians do come up with a run in the bottom half of inning number 2 and lead it by a score of 3-0. Well, I tell you, you're right about that. It is about as good a player as you're going to play on.
Yeah. I remember having to play there, and I was talking to Coach Motes, having to play old Baldwin out of Baldwin Field. He said there's going to be some renovations happening to that. There's not going to be that light pole in left field anymore.
Well, you never saw the field as it looked when your grandpa and I played on it, because there was an old famous baseball field down in Cincinnati that had like a hill back there in left field, which is called a terrace. And we had the same kind of terrace at what is now Baldwin Field. Back then it wasn't even called ball on the field. But anyway, we had no grass on the infield either, which tends to make a little bit of difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was quite different. But it's good to hear that they're going to do some other renovation. I do miss, here's the other thing you probably maybe didn't even know, but at one time we had a really pretty nice place to watch game from was a grandstand behind home plate out at Milligan Park.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know, I mean, if you had a real hot day, it's neat to get in or get the shade.
Yeah.
Or if it's raining, it's a pretty neat place. So, yeah. So, I always hated to see that thing go down.
Yep.
But anyway, it's a much better field, even right now, without work than what it was really when we played on it.
Yeah.
Well, this is Brett McKinney we're talking to, member of the 2008 Crawfordsville Athenian Championship baseball team. We've got a new pitcher coming on. This is Josh Blackburn, who came from third base now and now in the pitching slot. Well, are there any other memories or thoughts you have that you come back and, you know, if you were telling somebody on this Athenian baseball team currently about something, is there anything that comes to your mind on that?
I don't know. I mean, we had a lot of good memories, a lot of good times. You know, I remember one of the guys were saying, you know, just playing with your best friends, just coming out after school, going to that locker room and getting changed for practice or for a game. It's just, you know, it's something you look back on and you're like, I wish I really would have, you know, cherished that, you know, those times, because now you know, go to work, you come home, and it's just totally different. So, but no, it was just a great time, you know, playing with good friends, and it's good to be back and seeing those friends again. So,
well, thanks for being here. Thanks for coming up and talk to us. And I want to say, not all the guys look like they're in as good a shape as you are, Brett.
Hey, I tried.
I'm glad to see that. Okay, thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck now.
Yep.
Here's a swing and a miss for out number one. That was Caleb Thomas, the left fielder. That'll bring up the leadoff hitter for the Panthers, Chris Wilson.
Now batting the center fielder, Chris Wilson.
Got Justin Wright here, ready?
Yeah, how about this guy? Here's a pitch to Wilson for a strike. Well, here's another young man that looks like he's in pretty good shape.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, Justin, not all these guys look like they've kept in as good a shape as some of the others. You know?
Yeah, they've aged a little bit.
Look like you might be getting a little exercise around.
Yeah, I stay active.
Justin Wright visiting with us now. Here's the ball fouled to the right side. First baseman Sammy Riddle over, under, and has it for out number two. So Josh getting quick outs here in the top half of inning number 3. Well, I guess I usually end up thinking, you know, what do these guys remember about that 2008 season?
I'd say the biggest thing is that we expected to win every time. We knew we were good, and against the conference teams especially, we just knew, oh, we're probably going to dominate these guys. And then even the better schools, whether it was indie schools or...
Here's a line drive to left field for a base hit. So a 2-out hit there. And...
That's a second hit, Dan.
Okay, Michael Ruiz.
The shortstop, Tommy Gallagher.
Getting his second hit of the ball game. That'll bring up Tommy Gallagher for the shortstop. So a runner aboard with 2 down here in the top of the 3rd. Here's a pitch taken down and in. I got to look at this here and check Justin. Says, is this right? Justin says you had a 308 batting average.
Yeah, I think I was slightly above 300.
Okay, well, you're a 300 hitter nonetheless.
Yeah,
There is a base hit.
I'll take it.
Wilson takes it to left field. Runner going to third now, and he's in there. And then on the play, on down to second base, that wasn't Wilson, actually. Who was that hitter?
Yes, that was a hard hit ball down the third base.
The third baseman, Jake Baker.
Okay, Baker at the plate now, the third baseman. So a scoring threat here for the Panthers in the top of the third. To getting the first two men easily. Josh got to go to work here. Here's a pitch that's down, ball one. 1 ball, no strikes. Runners at second, third, lead away now. Here's a breaking ball, catches the inside corner. Number 12, Jake Baker, the third baseman. Here's one that hangs high. 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, I think you're right. You know, I think maybe you lost one conference game that year.
Yeah.
I saw that somewhere on one of the records. Do you remember who that was?
We had a hiccup at Danville.
All right.
I think it was about 6 or 7 errors. It took them extra innings and like a delayed steal from third. It took them like 7 errors to beat us. It was bad. Coach Froge, we went home on the bus, and Coach Froge came back and pointed out something each of us did wrong that game.
Here's a 2-2. That's fouled back, out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down here. Top half of inning number 3. Athenians lead at 3-0. Panthers with a scoring threat, though. Runners at second and third. Here's a pitch, swung on a miss. Out number 3. Blackburn gets the strikeout. So at the end of 2.5, Athenians lead it by a score 3-0.
No errors and 2 left.
I believe you had another very special recognition during that time.
The mental attitude?
Yeah,
that was...
Well, you know, I mean, that's something you certainly should be very proud of. Very few individuals ever get that honor. And, you know, I think back to going back into the 50s when we had a young man by the name of Dick Haslam played in the championship basketball game. Won
he got
what's called the Trester.
The Trester, yeah.
But that's the same as really as the mental attitude, which same thing. And thinking back, I think we had somebody else along the way, but I can't remember who it was. But anyway, very special honor, and that's one that I imagine you treasure it, but maybe Mom and Dad even more.
Oh, yeah, I think my mom was crying.
He'd recognize that away.
Yeah, I remember earlier in the week we were getting ready for state, and Coach Froge asked me some info to put what I was involved in at school, and I was oblivious. I had no idea until they announced my name, but... So then my parents were telling me about it, and we looked up other years. And I think Don Mattingly won it for one of the Evansville schools.
Okay, yes.
And we're huge Yankees fans, so that was pretty cool after I realized what it was.
Yeah. Cam Saunders stepping in for the Athenians here in the bottom of inning number 3. Pops the ball out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Beautiful day here at the ballpark. Not full sun, but we're getting a little bit of sun peeking through. A light breeze, temperature about 73 degrees. Couldn't ask for more. Not a better place to be, and we're really glad that you could be here. And I tell you, I've really appreciated your family over the years. I had a chance to
thank you.
You know, have some in school maybe a little bit, and listen to your grandpa tell a lot of stories.
The state,
you know, and I really. Here's a pitch down. Well, both of your grandpas. Both of your grandpas. You know. Granville State and still playing a little golf.
Yeah, he does. He gets out there.
Do you remember how old he is?
Like 90. I don't know. 92. I don't know. Somewhere in his 90s.
Cam on down to first base on the walk. Brings up Austin Warren. There's a timeout at the plate. Running first, nobody down. Talking to Justin Wright. By the way, Granville State got a special recognition down at Southmont this year.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame down there.
Yeah,
the legends
yeah.
before all the high schools were integrated. That was really cool to see him get honored with that.
And Grandpa Ralph, he's this time of the year, he's always telling me about his tomatoes.
Oh, really?
Flowers still pitching here in inning number 3 for the Panthers. Courtney Whitehead coached Park Tudor Panthers. Here's the pitch. Ball taken to left field. Left fielder going back. He's under it. It's off the fence. He can't hold on to it, and we're going to move up to third base and second base. So have that a 2-base hit there for Austin Warren. So Athenians on with a threat here in the bottom half of inning number 3. Well,
shortstop, Cale McCarty.
I heard a lot of stuff over the PA there, Justin, but go ahead and tell us a little bit about what's going on in your life right now and maybe what some of your goals are for the future here.
Well, right now I'm at Penguin Random House in town, book place. But I got a degree from Purdue in geophysics, so the plan is to hopefully be on an oil rig this summer. There's a company called Halliburton I have a connection with.
Well, I've heard that. Yeah.
I want to be on an oil rig soon, making some better money, hopefully.
Okay. Well, I tell you, that's great because, I think, and I heard that out there on the field, and I thought, hell, I don't know of anybody around here that's ever gotten into that line,
Yeah.
And so it's time maybe Montgomery County needs to have some representation in the oil business. Halliburton, yes, sir.
That's the plan.
I think an ex-vice president had a little bit something to do with that
company
once upon a time.
Oh.
There's a strike running the count now to 3-1. Runners at second and third. Nobody down. McCarty swings and takes the ball to left field. Left fielder coming in. Has the catch. We're tagging and holding. Might have been able to go, but since that was the first out on the catch, Coach Froge hanging on to the runner there.
The catcher, Owen Bennett.
Brings up Owen Bennett. Owen doubled his last time at the plate. Owen, one of our good sophomores. Justin, I've been pointing out some of the guys coming up anyway that this is a very young Athenian ball club. Playing, here's a ground ball, third. Now they got him in the hot box out there. Jennifer throws the ball. Still no tag. Now the ball into the pitcher Flowers, who makes the tag. And so on down to second goes Bennett. So we end up just like we started, except we have one more out. So 2 down now. And Martin now is going to go out and run. That'll be a courtesy running situation for Andrew Martin as Bennett comes in to catch his breath and put on the catching gear. All right, Sammy Riddle, the first baseman, steps in. He swings and fouls the ball back. Second and third are the runners with 2 down. Athenians lead it 3-0. Pitch in the dirt, gets by, and that'll be a wild pitch as Athenians plate run number 4 in the person of Austin Warren. Austin Warren being one of those sophomores. He throws the ball really hard. I think he's got a chance to be one of those pitchers like you had back in 2008. I don't know what his best clock time is on the field, but I know a practice time had him at 87 at one time. So here's a pitch up and in. So he's got some heat for a sophomore.
Yeah, I saw him close out that Southmont game this week.
Playing a sophomore at short most of the time, sophomore at second most of the time.
Okay.
And sophomore behind the plate most of the time. So we very young this year. With only 2 seniors on the team. Today's game, Cade Fitzwater playing center field, one of our seniors, and Sammy Riddle playing first base, who is now at bat, is the other senior. Here's Flowers offering, swung on and missed. Sammy go down swinging his first time, didn't he? Yeah, okay. I'm making Mike stand up today. We got to let our guests sit down.
Glad to do it for these guys.
There's the pitch swung. A line drive, center field, but right at Wilson out there who brings it in. He got that on the sweet part of the bat, but direction was not the best that time. So in the Athenians, in the bottom of the third, they come up with another run, and they lead it now by a score 4-0. The 3-inning totals go like this. For your Athenians, they have 4 runs on 6 hits and 1 error, and for the visiting Park Tudor Panthers, they have no runs on 4 hits and no errors. Well, let me give you a little freedom to say anything you would like to say before you depart us here, and give us a mental award winner should give us something very thoughtful here.
Okay. I guess just first of all, when you were asking me about what I remembered from our championship season, I just remembered how dominant we were and we always expected to win. I remember one time we were warming up, and I said it kind of as a joke, but I was serious. But I told the guys, I was like, hey, guys, I got a season finale of American Idol on tonight. Can we make this a 5-inning game? And they all started laughing. But there would be nights where we expected to be done fast.
Yeah.
We just, even against the bigger, the better schools, we're like, they're good, but we're better.
Well, you were 32-4.
Yeah, and all 4 losses, we lost it. They didn't beat us. I remember all 4, and there were either key errors or we lost it.
That's baseball, you know. You said you were a Yankee fan.
Oh,
I remember growing up, there was a time when there was a team out of St. Louis, which you never heard of, called the St. Louis Browns.
Oh.
And the St. Louis Browns actually occasionally beat the New York Yankees.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
And they weren't very good. I want to tell you. There's another story going with that Brown. You can look it up, and it's in the book.
Okay.
They had a midget go to bat at one time. His first name was Eddie, and his last name is escaping me now. Well, thanks very much for being up here with us. And
I'll tell one more story.
We have any games. You can tell one 2 more if you want to, man.
One more. No, I always wanted to tell everyone this, but I think the only time we were losing in the state tournament, Brebeuf got 2 or 3 runs on us. We started off down to Brebeuf first inning. And it was because this low sinking line drive hit to me in right field, and I kind of fumbled it, but I trapped it on my wrist. And I know you're supposed to come up for the umpire, but it was trapped, so I just barehanded it. Not a good idea because they're just going to think you grabbed it off the ground. And they called him safe, and they scored 2 or 3 on us.
Right, yeah, I remember
and
that.
I just stayed calm, but I was mad. And I came out the next inning, and the umpire called me over. And he goes, hey, right field, hey, did you catch that last inning? I go, yes, sir. And he goes, I thought you did, but there was going to be a riot from the Brebeuf fans if I called him out. And he goes, I'm sorry, but I thought it looked like you caught it, but I couldn't call it. And I always remember that. He apologized to me.
Okay.
So, yeah, however many runs we gave up, those 2 or 3. I think we gave up 5 all tournament. It was 3 to Brebeuf. 1 West Vigo, and 1 in the state. But those Brebeuf runs, they should not have counted.
Yeah, well, yeah, unfortunately I do remember that. We were doing a webcast, because I told some of the other guys we were doing webcasts starting that very year of your state championship. It was the first time that it ever happened, but we only had audio. We didn't have the picture.
Okay.
So I'm sure we called it a catch and said, you have to forgive the officials.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, hey, good story because that was one of those kind of things. We did get behind. First time you had to come back from behind and got her done.
Because in Greensburg, when Mr. Baseball hit that ball out to me at Jasper, I made sure to show it in the air then.
Okay.
The kind of the diving catch there.
Well, we didn't have much of a threat from those guys. We whipped those guys.
Took care of them pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, that was my story.
Okay, Justin, thanks for being up here. Thanks for being here today. You going to stay and eat today?
Yep, going to get some lunch right now. We got some more guys already.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Got a lot of good-looking guys. Justin Wright, good luck.
Thank you.
Get on that oil. Here's a ball taken down the right field line, foul. That would have been trouble. It was in the corner, but it foul ball. Well, we got one out here in the top of the fourth inning. Count on the batters, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think it's going to send you right in.
Josh Blackburn on for his second inning of work.
Ready for more, Dan?
There's a pitch taken outside the Flowers, so the count goes full now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. See if they're thinking to run here on this pitch. Looks like not, and he's not. Here's a ground ball right side. Scott's over, has it on to first base. Riddle has it in the glove for out number 2.
The catcher, Jennifer Oberthur.
So Jennifer Oberthur comes up to bat for the Panthers. Runner at second, 2 down. Here's the pitch taken down. Cam Hobson up to join us. He shook hands with his right hand. I was looking for his left hand.
No, I don't do everything left-handed.
Oh, okay. Here's the pitch taken for a ball. 2 balls, no strikes. Here's ball 3.
He's been throwing a lot of those sliders. Does he call it a slider or a curveball, Dan?
You know, I'm not really sure on Sammy, so I call it a breaking ball. How's that work?
Breaker, yeah.
Yeah.
Another one.
Ball 4. So runners at first and second now with 2 down. Well, Josh started out last inning and got the first 2, then kind of worked himself into a little bit of a situation, got out of it. So let's hope he does again today. Or this inning, and that brings up Caleb Thomas.
The left fielder, Caleb Thomas.
Thomas playing left field.
And he might have been pitching around her a little bit with all those breakers.
I don't know. About everything looks the same out of Sammy's or Josh's hand. And Josh, really, he's come on and give us some good innings this year at really some important situations, but
there you go.
Struggling a little bit. There's a fastball. That was a fastball.
Threw it by him. Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike. Well, you can think about this. Well, I was going to ask you, just tell us some special memory of 2008. Here's the pitch in there for a strike on the breaker.
There it was. No, he's been throwing a good breaker, it looks like. And when he's throwing so many of them that when he comes back with that fastball, he throws it right by him. So it's been working out.
A swing and a miss. Ball tailing away from the right-handed hitter. So in the inning for the Panthers, they have no runs on. They had 1 hit and nobody left on. There are 2 left on, pardon me. We have, once again, Mr. Hobson here, one of the one of the famous Hobson brothers. He gets more.
Everyone
He
who
get-
attended or tried to attend
He gets
the
more
semi-state
recognition
Jasper
because
PA
he
2008
played
surely
baseball
remembers
up to the
historic
AAA
rain
level.
and floods that
But
closed many roads
we
between
want to talk
here and
about that
Jasper.
high school level for
All right.
just a little bit, Cam.
Right
Sure,
fielder
sure.
Justin Wright made the catch of the tournament.
Tell us
clearing a
about
sinking liner off the bat of Mr.
At
Baseball,
least a
the
summation
current
of
Major
the
League
games
pitcher
that you
Alex
pitched
Meyer of
through the
Greensburg.
state tournament in
Justin
2008.
was also the LV Phillips.
The ones that really come to mind are the final two, obviously,
Oh.
right? The semi-state championship game against Greensburg,
Right.
where the bats really came alive, and it made it easy for me. I went 5 innings, and we 10-run ruled them.
Yeah, I just say the Greensburg bats did not come alive.
And they did not. So yeah, that was good. It was a lot of fun. That whole tournament, just going out there and knowing, even if I didn't pitch that well, that we had 2 other guys that could come in and back me up too, with Steven and Andrew.
Well, I think one thing about that
Leading off for your Athenians, the third baseman,
season,
Cade
I
Fitzwater.
don't want to make it sound like everybody knew it was going to happen, but you were ranked number 1,
Well, yeah.
and as things went along, you're winning a lot of games easily, 32-4 on the whole season, but handling things pretty doggone well, and there was a sense of anticipation, I think you would say, from maybe certainly players, but
Yeah.
also the fans. I think the whole community kind of got in with the idea. Well, here's Cade Fitzwater popping it up the right side. First baseman under and has it for out number 1 here in bottom of inning number 4. So, a lot of people were very excited even before we got to Victory Field. We were really into it. And as I was telling, because your dad's very much involved with the webcast at that time where we were doing audio only.
Yep.
But he was very much involved. He and I had a lot of fun. We had and a lot of frustration. I might have, just as we have a little bit of audio trouble today. And
Okay.
we seemed like we had problems. And my guys, we went to do ball games, and we never knew where we were going to sit out at. We might be out in the rain, or you might be in the corner of a press box where you could hardly see, and didn't know whether things were coming out right the other side. But anyway, it was great for us being able to go ahead and webcast those games. And
Yeah, absolutely.
here's a line drive up the middle by Will Kellerman. That was a sweet part of the bat on a pitch down, and it never got over waist high going out, I don't think.
Yep. That's what Coach likes to see right there. Take it right back up the middle. Good hard hit ball.
Well, you may know this because your dad is part of the coaching staff now, but this is a very young Athenian team in 2018.
That's what I've heard. Only
Well,
2 seniors.
2 seniors, and this young man right here at the plate, really an interesting young man. Played center field for us last year as a freshman, actually, and he's a great bunter, got good wheels. I wouldn't necessarily call him a burner, but he does run very well. Here's the throw down on the steal attempt, and Will
Safe.
is in there under the tag. So a runner at second now, 1 away, and we're catching a sophomore at second, sophomore at shortstop, and Mr. Warren. And I don't know whether he'll ever throw as good as Cam Hobson or not, but this year in practice sessions, I know he's touched 87.
Wow.
So that's not bad for a sophomore.
That's good. That's part of the equation, The other part is, what are you going to do with it, right?
Well,
you got to put it over the plate, and you got to be able to mix speeds as well.
You bring up what do we got? Timeout?
Timeout.
Okay, timeout called at the plate.
Looked like it might have been a balk, but they called time.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Will Kellerman leading away from second base. Here's the pitch, taken outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Yes, sir. Have you had a chance to talk to any of these young Athenian pitchers?
I worked with them in the off season, a few of them.
Okay, I thought
Kellerman
that was the
a little
case.
bit. Not this year, but in years past.
Oh, he's off the bag. Now Will's going to go to the plate. No place else to go.
Go back.
He
Go back.
He's got to play. He's going to be back in time. So, a little circuitous route there by Will Kellerman.
They called him out of the baseline. They called him out of the baseline. That's the rule is that there has to be an effort to tag the runner for them to be out of the baseline. And in that situation, he just slipped past the bag.
Yeah, Coach Rhodes mystified at that call. That's.
Did they call him out on the tag?
Well, I thought they were calling him out of the baseline for a while, but I'm not sure. So we'll have to.
He's out, and we don't know why.
We'll have to get an explanation. Will was all right, For a minute, I thought he was going to head to the dugout when he went by third. But anyway, he is in the dugout, and here is ball 4. Carson Scott tosses his bat aside like he wasn't real happy to take a walk. That'll bring up the current pitcher, Josh Blackburn. Josh started at third base. I'm going to tell you, Josh Blackburn, who's a junior, started the season in center field because he played outfield last year.
Yep.
And we had a little trouble at third base. It wasn't terrible, but we kept moving guys in and out. And finally moved Josh over there, and he's really looked like he belongs there. So
yeah, well, from what I've seen, I know I was here last year and hung around for one of the Saturday games. I think it was the Athenian Invitational last year, and got to see batting practice and everything. And I was just really surprised at the way, he's got really good eye-hand coordination, and he can go the other way with the ball. And those are two things that I know Coach really likes in a hitter.
Yeah, Josh is a good competitor kid. I enjoyed this year. He decided to wrestle. I don't know where they came from. There's a big pop-up. Second baseman under, and has it for out number 3. So for the Athenians in the bottom half of inning number 4, they have no runs. And they had, I forgot now where they had a hit or not.
No runs, one hit.
One hit.
I
thought they did.
Ripped the ball up the middle.
Okay.
Up the middle.
Yeah, right. Will
Tongue
Kellerman.
twister.
Will Kellerman. So totals after 4 innings of play, your Athenians have 4 runs on 7 hits and 1 error. And for the visiting Park Tudor Panthers, they have no runs on 5 hits and no errors. So Athenians almost in the driver's seat. Well, Cam, I tell you, we were really, and I say we,
during the championship game,
Coach Rhett,
Cody Dow made a big
myself, Coach Rhodes, and a lot of Athenian fans just kept following you as you went into college pitching, and then later on, and I think you were in Tennessee for a while, if I remember right.
Yeah, Jackson, Tennessee.
Yeah, we would get on, find something, we get on the internet and get to a radio station somewhere and listen to you pitch there. And so talk to us a little bit about your experience playing at that level.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I had a long career, I think, almost 5 years. So with the Seattle Mariners, I played at every single level that there was in the minor leagues. So I made my way up, slowly, 1 year at a time, and had a chance to play at AAA a little bit, and it was a lot of fun. Just kind of get a little taste of what it was like to be in the big leagues, but not quite make it. But yeah, I don't have any regrets at all about it. I really enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun. Coming to the ballpark every day, and there's going to be thousands of fans there, and you're playing a very highly competitive game, and so I think that's probably the competition is the only thing that I miss about it, and lucky for me, when I was playing, I really just wanted to make sure when I got done that I didn't have any regrets, right? So, I went at it every single day, with as much effort as I possibly could, and tried to put everything I could into it. And so now, when I look back, I don't have any regrets.
Well, I know you gave it a great effort, and even we down here, we recognize a lot of it, it is to not just here's a ground ball to third, knock
use
down,
the body.
On to first base.
There
Got
it is.
the out. Good job getting in front of the ball down there. That was Josh Blackburn moving back to third base as we have a new pitcher on now, Cam Saunders. He came out of right field, and Cam's throwing a lot of innings for us. Well, what I was going to say, a lot of it has to do not only with your advancement, but what happens in the layers ahead of you. Some teams at the major league level, sometimes all of a sudden they get 2 or 3 key injuries and things flop
and you
along.
get bumped, yeah.
And then in your case, you had a little bit of arm problem,
Mm-hmm.
and that had a lot to do with your own advancement there. So
Yeah,
there's what I'm saying is, I guess there's things that are under your control, but there are other things that are not totally under your control whatsoever.
Right, yeah, and that's the hardest thing, I think, from an outsider's perspective, especially. Looking at it, me and a lot of my teammates, a lot of what we focus on was just the day in, day out, things you can control, right? Yeah. So getting to the ballpark on time, getting your work in, and doing your best when you get the ball, right? And that's really the only thing you can focus on. If you look at all the moves that the major league team's making, the trades, and who's getting, who's going up to the big leagues, who's coming down, and all that, you can kind of lose focus on what really matters.
Yeah. Well, what about your travel with those different teams?
I think I lived out of a suitcase for 5 years, pretty much straight. I was never in any one place for more than 2 months at a time. Okay. Even in the off season, I'd come home to my parents' house for a few months, and then I'd go down to Atlanta and train, or somewhere else, get back into training and all that.
Michael Ruiz just draws a walk. Has he been on base every time?
Yes, he has. He has 2 hits.
Yeah.
Before that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he had 2 hits and now a walk. So Ruiz has been the main thorn in our sides, I guess. Well, and I don't want to forget to mention the fact how your parents followed you all through this process. I know they were kind of on the road themselves.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Well, they tried to make it. At least it was harder when I was farther away. So I played out in California for a couple of years, and so they got to come to 1 or 2 series a year. In that, and in the minor leagues it's a little bit different because you're playing every single day. So, they would know. Luckily, I was a starting pitcher, and so they know when I would be able to pitch, and they could come out and see me. But yeah, it was a lot of travel, and that's something I don't miss. Having to just live out of a suitcase, not knowing who you're going to be living with. Yeah. We'd get to a team, so 3 days before spring training's over, they tell you where you're going to go. Jackson, Tennessee, Tacoma, Washington, High Desert, California. There's, 3 or 4 teams. You would know. You'd have an idea, but you weren't for sure. You get there, and you'd have 2 days. They'd give you 2 days in the hotel, and then you're on your own. So you had to find an apartment, sign a lease for 6 months of the season, and you would basically just try to get some guys together, and you'd live in an apartment with no furniture, and we'd go to Walmart, and Walmart, now, you can't tell anybody this, but Walmart has a 90-day return policy on their TVs. So we'd get a TV, we'd get a TV, and we'd get it for 89 days, take it back, get another one, say we didn't like it or whatever it was, get another TV, and then that'd last us for the rest of the year. But yeah, it was a little hard, Did a lot of Goodwill shopping for pots and pans, and
there's a line drive base hit. So.
Really, just living, as rudimentary as possible.
Well, I was going to ask you, kind of you grabbing your meals, kind of here and there sometimes at different times of the day and night.
Well, after the game's over, 10 o'clock at night, there's probably only 1 or 2 eating places open. You go to had a lot of Applebee's
midnight happy hours with the half price apps, right? And some Denny's. So
Okay.
I ate a lot of that, and yeah, so it's not the healthiest lifestyle and whatnot, but you know, I tried to do everything I could, you know, to eat the right things and you know, do the right things and whatnot. But yeah, it does take a little bit of a toll after a while.
Cameron Smith is bad here with runners at first and second and 2 down. Here's the pitch by Cam. Catches the inside corner. He's ahead of the count now, 0-2. Cam trying to work out a little bit of a mini jam here in the top half of inning number 5. Cam Hobson talking with
Nice,
us.
good pitch.
Here's a ball that gets by, but the throw on down to first base by Bennett ends the top half of inning number 4. No runs on 1 hit, and were a couple of runners left on base. We had another player that from the Athenian roster of years ago that had a kind of a similar situation. I think he actually ended up playing out on the West Coast in Matt McCarty. A few years ahead of you.
Yeah, I think he played in Billings, Montana, I believe.
That's where he started.
Yeah, okay.
And then he went around, but I believe he ended up in California.
I was talking to him. He ended up in either Rancho Cucamonga or Inland Empire, which is 2 of the teams that I played against when I was in High Desert.
Okay. Yeah, Matt. He might have been a little short of your time, but it would have been a comparable amount of time, I think, that he spent in kind of the same situation there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, we've enjoyed this year with Athenian hurler Trent Johnson.
Yeah.
Playing for Purdue up there. We had a chance to go up and see him a couple Sundays ago.
Did you?
He's having a nice year with the Boilermakers.
Yeah, no, he was really not heavily recruited out of high school. You know, similar to a lot of the stories of Crawfordsville pitchers, right? And he's just really come on. You know, I remember watching Trent when I think he was a sophomore, and he'd come out after basketball practice, and I was working with the guys, you know, once a week on bullpens and stuff out of the hitting streak. And Trent came out, and his slider, I probably hadn't thrown a bullpen all year, and his slider was one of the best sliders I'd ever seen. So, it doesn't surprise me at all.
He's leaning on that a lot, I know right now. Well, hey, before you leave, we keep you a long time. But listen, I want you to talk a little bit about what's going on in your life now.
Sure.
I know you live in Ohio.
I live in Ohio, yeah. I work for a biotechnology engineering company. So I do a lot of the product development and engineering type stuff on sports performance products that we do. So like high tech, batters boxes and stuff like
you
that.
You wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah. So I've been doing that, and so I've really been able to apply my baseball knowledge and my engineering knowledge to, you know, at the same time. So, you know, I'm really happy with where I am now and the stuff I get to do and the places I get to go. I guess so.
Okay, well, you're right there. You ever get in the stadium over there?
I went to a game a couple of years ago. You know, I'm not a huge college football fan, but you know, I enjoy it, and it's a cool place to go. You know, it's a little bit different. I grew up with my mom went to Purdue, so we went to a lot of the Purdue games and stuff like that. So, you know, just watching Big Ten football, it's nice.
Austin Warren.
Well, we got Saunders down first base. Well, I tell you, sounds like things are going real good, and you know, Hobson family continues to be a part of the baseball program here at Crawfordsville with your dad joining that, I guess, his second year in with the coaching staff.
Yeah.
And it seems to fit like a glove there. And so we'll probably never get him out of that dugout, will we?
No, I think he didn't have anybody to tell what to do anymore when I quit playing. So he needed to get his coaching on. So. Yeah, no, but he's really knowledgeable on the game. You know, he's just been around it so long, you know, just following my career and then, you know, being so intimately involved as I was growing up. So he really knows what he's talking about, and I think he's a good addition to the coaching staff.
Well, I'm going to let you go back and visit with somebody else, but thanks for coming up. And I want to say just one more thing. I really believe, and we've had some good first basemen, really believe, you know, everybody thinks of you as a pitcher, they should, but I really believe you're the best first baseman that the Athenian program's ever seen. And, I mean, I always love left-handed first baseman to start with, but you handle yourself around there really well. And and since you were a great hitter, I always wondered, you know, well, I wonder what would have happened if old Cam had gone in as a first baseman. But, you know, those are just fun things to play with. But it's really a tribute to you as to how good a ball player you were overall. And as I look back in the annals of baseball game, and, you know, I don't go back as far as some other people. Like there's a guy by the name of Ralph Elliott that played baseball here in Crawfordsville in the 40s. I'm not that old.
Okay.
I played in the 50s. But anyway, so we've basically seen them all, you know. And I had to say that you would be at the top of that list for sure.
Well, I appreciate
no
it.
question about the pitching thing either. Thanks for coming up, Cam.
Yep.
Have a good day, and I know you'll be eating later in the day.
I will. I'll be at the banquet later at 5 o'clock. So.
All righty.
All right.
Good luck. We're in the bottom of inning number 5. Athenians leading this ball game by a score of 4-0. Runner at second base. Nobody out. Warren swings and misses. Something got in. Grab those. Help me out here, Mike.
Okay, what's up, Dan?
Well, I don't know. We just took your headphones away for such a long time there. Your ears probably getting cold.
Yeah, they are. Hey, it's the weather is nice, though, so they're keeping them fairly warm.
Ball foul back. Count remains 3 balls, 2 strikes. The Indians trying to add on here in inning number 5.
Austin's having a good day today. He's got a single and a double, and he scored a run. And I'm sure, yes, he knocked in a run.
Have timeout called by the Panthers. Panthers have a new pitcher on here, Mike.
Yes, number 7. I don't have his name.
Well,
you probably do.
Yeah, I do. It's Caleb Thomas.
Okay.
I believe Caleb was in the lineup maybe earlier. I can't remember what position he played.
Oh. No, he was. What number is he? Number 7. No, yeah, he was the right left
swing and
fielder.
a miss.
So the pitcher, I don't know if he went out there or not.
Cale McCarty.
Brings up the shortstop for the Athenians, Cale McCarty. 1 down now. The Indians leading it 4-0. Bottom half of inning number 5. Here's the pitch. Taken down. Runner going. Throw down. And he's in under the tag. Well, what'd you think about that kind of a phantom out call, I think, there on Will's overrun?
I just put that as an out.
Yeah.
I didn't I wasn't sure how to record it.
Well,
I didn't know what to call.
It had to be one of two things. You either call him out for being out of the line.
That's what I thought.
Or out on a tag. And from my perspective, there was never a tag.
Never a tag. No, that's what.
At least a tag in time to get him out.
Yeah.
And,
I figured the baseline. I was sliding over.
Oh, I guess it all ends up the same. We go to the dugout.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to go to the dugout after he got up from sliding.
Yeah, I did too.
We got McCarty.
We got another 08 coming here in a minute for you, Dan.
Pitch down. 2 balls, no strikes.
Get you in a minute.
Here's a squeeze. Suicide. He's in there. Throw to first base.
It's going to be.
All right. Matt, yeah. I knew I'd do that someday.
Yeah, I knew you would too. I've been keeping myself from doing it also.
Cale McCarty lays down a nice bunt, bringing in the run from third, and that makes it 5-0 Athenians. Cale safe as the throw is low and gets loose. Owen Bennett the batter for the Athenians. Here's the pitch. Swung on line drive, right field. That's a base hit. Right fielder over, gets to the line quickly. Nice job cutting it off out there.
Everybody clap your hands.
So base hit for Owen Bennett. Runners at first and second. Martin, once again, will come in and run for Bennett. Bennett having a real good day at the plate.
Yes, he is. Double scored a run, fielder's choice, and then another single.
All right, Sammy Riddle to the plate. Thomas, the pitcher for the Panthers, lets it go. This pitch is fouled at the plate. Who you got back there, Mike?
We got Blake Harris, a guy I know pretty well. He's waiting to come in here and talk to you.
Here's a ground ball to the pitcher. Looks at third, in on to first base, throws high, but they get the tag down there for out number 2. It does advance runners now to second and third. This surely can't be right. This thing here says Blake Harris had a .358 batting average.
I can account for that. That is right, yes. Out of the 9 hole. That's why you have good hitters down bottom of the lineup, right? We're having a talk with Cade right now. John's talking things over. I think
he's was looking for a pinch hitter.
I do too.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he is. He's going to bring in Caleb Coons.
All right. Caleb only a freshman.
Yes.
Along with Andrew Martin, who's
he's had a couple of
second base
appearances.
Yeah. .50 Athenians.
The pinch hitter for Crawfordsville is number 23, Caleb Coombs.
Caleb Coombs comes to the plate with runners at second and third and 2 down. Here's the pitch. Swung on a miss, and an offering that's down out of the strike zone. Here's a breaking ball for a strike. He really telegraphs that thing.
Yeah, yes, he does.
I mean, his motion slows down and cranks on it. But it worked. It's 0-2. Here's the pitch. Same pitch. Swung on a miss for strike 3. So Coons down swinging to end the 5th inning.
Aided by 1 error, did lead 2.
So your Athenians, after 5 full, they lead it by a score of 5-0. It's 5 runs on 9 hits and 1 error. And for the visiting Panthers, they have no runs on 6 hits and 1 error. Well, we welcome in Mr. Harris and Blake. I want to ask you right off the get-go. I know we still had a good field back in 08, but how do you like the new field as you look at it?
Oh, boy, it looks great. This backstop looks awesome. You can tell that the team, coaches, parents, and everybody involved still puts a lot of time into it. Got a couple new banners on that fence out in the outfield, and they look pretty.
Yeah, and the sign out there that says state champs.
Yes.
2 years even. Yeah.
2 of them now. Yeah, looks good. A lot of discipline in the organization that has been around a long time.
And this brick, Cody Dowell is a member, obviously, of your team, but one of his relatives also is responsible for this brick job from dugout to dugout.
Okay.
You can check with him on that. I'm telling the truth. Okay. 358. So you're another guy, just walk around and say, I'm a 300 hitter on the state championship team.
That's right. It's
for the Panthers, the first baseman.
a lot of. A lot of pitchers on the other teams had to work for a lot, so they didn't have any off time. They didn't have any. A lot of teams. You get to the 8, 7, 8, 9 holes, and either sure enough outs, throwing strikes, throwing fastballs, and we wore a lot of pitchers down because our lineup was hot all the way through.
Cam Saunders on for his second inning of work. Top of the 6th, Athenians lead at 5-0. Well, Blake, I tell you, I've not asked everybody all the same questions, but one of the things I try to revert back to, and I know the PA man talked some about this at the opening, but I would just ask you, kind of what are your remembrances of that 2008 season?
From that 2008 season, really what sticks out to me is just from the get-go, from opening day practice, we all, from freshmen to seniors, we all knew that we had high expectations for us. And those expectations were, really brought upon ourselves. And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, but we worked for it as well. So what I remember is just the focus, the amount of focus from day one that crept into a lot of our minds, that knew that we had something special with our talent and our discipline, our coaching staff, that we could do something special.
Yeah, you guys are all together on that. I'm getting close to the same answers. It's the fact that you kind of expected to win. You knew you'd done the work. And there's a ground ball that is going to go for a base hit. That took a really nasty hop out there on Cale, and he did not get a glove on it, but I can understand why. Well, we, as fans, kind of had a similar feeling. I was talking about to Kim, just the last guy up here, and he, talking about how the team expected to win, and kind of really, starting out being like ranked number 1, and so there were high expectations, and fans got into that pretty quickly too. Fans, expected you guys to win every time you went out. And so it was really got to be a community thing. You remember
Absolutely.
all the celebration time and all those things that went on after you actually won it. And very good crowd that we had over at Victory Field.
We sure did.
So it was very much. Matter of fact, I don't hesitate to say that we had fans there from Southmont and North Montgomery, and they were not there to see the Athenians lose either. They were there to root everybody on. So that was a great thing for Montgomery County as well as the Crawfordsville Athenians.
Absolutely.
Well, you look at this ballpark today, and I think about how Diamonds were when we played, and you maybe could appreciate the fact that obviously we played over at the park.
Yep.
And we had no baseball lights.
Right.
We had no grass on the infield.
Right.
We did not wear helmets. We used wooden bats. Well, I could go on. But anyway, that's one of the things I hope. Here is a walk as the catcher trots on down to first base. So runners at first and second now with 1 out. I just hope the young guys today really realize the advantages that you have coming into this game. You grow up in a baseball program, you had chances to play. There is a play. Oh, that was a very, very close to second base. Runner back in head first, called safe. But, you know, I imagine you played teams out of town at a fairly early age.
Yeah.
And you know, that's something that was rarely done, not too many years ahead of you. But that program expanded, and guys having a chance to go out and play teams from other areas. Got to help.
Absolutely, and it was nice to have a coaching staff that really encouraged us to play outside, you know, outside of the organization over the summers to get, you know, just brush up on some skills and just really get acquainted with the game, understand the game a lot better, to play the game reactively and, you know, not really have to adjust to the way that coaches were coaching, because we knew how they were going to coach. So you just being able to be in the game and understand the game the best we could.
The next night came back and hit another home run for the first official home run on this field.
But the other thing, you know, going back to the fans on that state run, well, you know, it was nice to see that. But those fans didn't start there. Those fans started at the beginning of the year where they knew that we had something special, and they were really just boosted a lot of our confidence, you know, in the team and each other, to really rally behind each other and stay tough, stay headstrong and confident in our team.
Yeah, we were talking back and thinking, actually, Justin Wright, talking about the one time we got behind in the tournament against Brebeuf, and he was involved in a play where he went down and actually did catch the ball, but he had to dive, and the way he came up with it, showed the ball.
Oh, that snow cone.
The umpire didn't give him the call, and that led to Brebeuf getting, I don't know, it was either 2 or 3 runs, and we actually were behind for a little bit. The only time in the whole tournament. In fact, I think we somewhere figured out that during the tournament we only gave up a total of 5 runs, but 3 of them were in that Brebeuf game.
That's right.
So little staying power. And there was one that Wilson took on the head there, and so that'll load them up now for the Panthers. Top half at inning number 6, just to catch you up a little bit. They've got the bases loaded with 2 down. Athenians still with a comfortable lead, but now we've got Cam in a situation out here that he needs to put a stop to things. It's
keep him on base, Dan.
Yeah, I'm going to say this is the guy that's been on base every time. 2 singles and a walk his last time up. Michael Ruiz. Here's pitch taken for a strike. Count evens, 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Cam, I tell you what, I know this. Cam, I don't have Cam up here. I got Blake Harris. But anyway, what I was thinking.
Oh, we got a pass ball play.
He will be safe. So the Panthers get their first run of the game, and that'll go officially as a wild pitch as the ball got into the dirt. I was just going to say, with Cam and all the rest of the starting pitchers that you had, you didn't have situations with the bases loaded. Very, very seldom did that ever happen the whole season.
That sure was a rarity. That's for sure.
Well,
they any pressure that would have ever otherwise been on our infield or our outfield, even for that matter, they really took those matters into their own hands. And
well, you can look at the here's a pop on the infield. It's going to be dropped by, and we were really lucky in a way. They could have actually scored more than they did. Well, he's bringing them back. I'm not sure what they called that, a foul ball.
I must have called that out. I think our catcher was in foul territory.
You know, I got a bar right in front of me, and I actually got blocked on that one. Should be. There's a line drive. That's going to go as a double down the left field line. And that's going to score 2 more runs. So all of a sudden, Athenians kind of coasting. Now it's a 5-3 ball game. And the Panthers just get their 8th hit of the game. So Athenians' edge is very narrow right now. 5-3 ball game, and Coach Froge to the mound. Well, as you look here, Cameron Hobson, ERA .59. Stephen Rice, .68. Andrew Schwartz, 1.06.
Park Tudor also has some more.
And, of course,
did you know that
we use Stephen a lot. Bring him in late in the ball game if there was a situation, and he pretty well took care of things.
He sure did. He was one of those. He came in, and our shoulders dropped a little bit with a little bit of ease. So we knew that Stephen was very talented, worked very hard on the mound, and we all had tremendous confidence in him. And at that time he was an underclassman, so that says a lot about his demeanor and his work ethic.
Yeah.
That we all had that much confidence in him.
Yeah, Stephen had a little moxie. I think he cherished the opportunity to come in with runner on third or something like that.
And you can't teach that. That kid's just a competitor.
Had the great breaking ball, run it in on the guy's hands.
Corner.
Sometimes it wasn't even fair.
No, it wasn't. It really wasn't. You don't. The opponents, you can't practice that. You can't get anybody to throw those sorts of breakers to have the visibility at the plate to see it break like the way that he throws it. So he sure had a lot of hitters at a disadvantage.
Well, we're asking Austin Warren to come in now and play a little rice ball here and see if we can smother this rally. We need to get it out right now. Well, I need to let you talk a little bit about what's going on in your life now. And,
well, I am newly married, have a 8-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son, and
that keeps you hopping.
It keeps us awfully busy. So,
now batting the shortstop.
Still living in good old Crawfordsville.
Yeah.
Still loving it.
Well,
got a cousin out here playing today, Cade, doing well this year. So
yes, Cade he's been an all-around type guy.
He sure has.
We've had him pitching, playing center field, playing third base.
First base, I think I've seen him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a jack of all trades, and he's really worked hard for it. He's done nothing but play baseball over the last, really, 8 or 9 years for as long as I can remember. So
he's having a good year.
He's put a lot of time and effort into it.
Yeah, this young team is here's a ball off of Warren's glove. There will not be a play. And so the threat continues with runners at first and third and 2 down. That brings up number 12. That's Jake Baker. Jake Baker playing third base for the Panthers today. So Courtney Whitehead's crew making it interesting here in inning number 6. Here's a ground ball left side. In is Blackburn on to first base, and he makes the play for out number 3. But in the top half of inning number 6,
with no errors and leave 2.
Park Tudor comes up with 3 runs. They had 3 hits, a couple runners left on base. So good job. Warren comes in and snuffs out the rally, but does make a game out of it. So after 5.5 innings of play, the Athenians lead it by a score of 5-3. Got a new hat.
I sure do.
Doing
a little bit of coaching this year, so I got to sport the colors.
All right, tell us about your coaching this year.
Doing 10 and under girls softball.
Hey, I've been there and done that.
It's a little bit different, but you know what? We're having a good time. Got a lot of good girls with some good attitudes out there, and that is 3/4 of the battle at this age. So I'm happy with the team we got, and I think we could have some fun this year.
Yeah,
Coach Froge is oldest granddaughter on the team, Hallie.
My great-granddaughter.
Your great-granddaughter, Hallie. So, yeah, I think we got a lot of, we could have some tools. I'm excited.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear you're working with the kids. You know, that's one thing we could use more of, frankly, is to have ex-players,
right?
You know, coming in and working with the youngsters. There's always been a need for that, and
right.
I tell you, Blake, that's. I mean, I'm serious. I'm really glad to hear that, and obviously, being my great-granddaughter, I knew that, but nonetheless, congratulations on doing that.
Thank
really
you. And hey, you know, being around Crawfordsville for, you know, obviously my whole life, and seeing just a little bit of excitement in the baseball program, you know, with a little bit of success, just having coaches and ex-players being invested in a program is really, it's very critical, and to really give back like that, I think it's just, it's important, really more or less a duty, just to get kids excited and
well, listen,
about the sport. And
you went through here, and you went through a program that was obviously successful, and you understand the importance of coaching, obviously,
absolutely
in there. But it's also, you know, having some guys that are at the lower level, the younger kids, you know.
Yeah.
So these guys, when they get them up here at high school, don't have a bunch of guys that. I'll be quite honest. I had a few years working in the Crawfordsville baseball program where I had I was doing back then freshman baseball when Tudor was freshman, and I had pitchers that came to me and had no idea what that rubber was for, and we had no idea how you turn around properly to lay a bunt down.
Sure.
Had no idea how to take a lead off properly, you know. And at least our kids coming in now, we have the rudiments.
Some basic fundamentals,
of
sure.
all that have kind of been there. And there's adjustments, but, you know, it's not all strange. Yeah.
Sure. Oh, my goodness. I think we spent the first week and a half, almost 2 weeks, teaching the girls just really how to play catch, to how to receive the ball, and to turn your shoulders, to throw the ball. And then the next week was ground ball in the first in the infield. Where are we going with the ball? So yeah, very basic skills and just understanding of how the game's played is it's critical. I mean, if we get to if these girls get to middle school and they don't understand the basics of a force out, versus, then we're in trouble. So,
well, that'll be part of your challenge working with those young ladies.
Sure.
But you know and it just takes time. And, you know, I know a lot of people don't like hearing it, but I still say repetition is the mother of learning. You know,
I agree.
Those things from a coaching standpoint, you're going to go over them over and again. And, you know, here's a nice bunt laid down by Carson Scott. That'll move Kellerman on to second base. Carson probably bunting for a hit there, but he will get credit for a sacrifice, as Will does get on to second base. So runner at second with one out, and Coach Froge thinking maybe we need to try to get a little insurance here and move somebody along.
Great distance on that bunt. Maybe it could have hugged the line a little bit better for a hit, but
well, as you
getting
know,
that runner to second base.
Young man Carson Scott is a great bunter, and he's a switch hitter.
That's great. Can't teach
runs
that.
Very well. Has adjusted this year, moving from center field last year to second base this year. Only a sophomore. Playing 4 sophomores most all the time. Well, only 2 seniors, you know, as Cade being one of them.
Right,
and, Sammy Riddle the other, so virtually everybody back. Here's a check swing, but he didn't get checked in time. So Josh Blackburn down on the count 0-2. Thomas, second pitcher for the Panthers. Now he steps off the mound, turns around and takes a look back at Will, but nothing going back there. Here's the ball fouled at the plate. staying alive. Well, Blake, I'm going to let you get out. I don't know how many more we got coming here, but anyway.
I think you got one more sitting back here.
Okay. I'm going to let you. I'm going to let you have a chance to say anything else you want to say before you go. But thank you for being here and
thanks for having us.
Being a part of this day. Here's an infield
great
hit.
Play, great hit.
Yeah, Josh gets down the line pretty well. So base hit, runners first and third. Who's this guy?
This is Braden, my son. He's 3.
Braden?
You say hi.
Hi.
Hi. All right, man. You play ball? Mm-hmm. All right. Give me 5. And a boy.
We played ball yesterday.
I'll be in school in 4th grade.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You're moving right along.
Yeah.
Who's this guy on your arm here?
A walrus.
All right, a little John. Here's a runner going to second base. He's dropped the ball and tried to make the tag, and he's called him out of the baseline now. And I tell you what. Here, Coach froze.
Coach is having trouble with that.
Well, he's, I think, has a misinterpretation of the rule there. But anyway, it goes as an out and out number 2. So Will Kellerman standing down to third base, and Cam Saunders steps in, chance to get him in here. But now with 2 outs, makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that tag didn't knock the ball loose. You know, I don't think it was on the exchange there, so I think they had that one incorrect. But I think that umpire out there.
Well, if you haven't done it, maybe all the fans don't understand. Officiating is a difficult job, and you're going to make mistakes. Mm-hmm. It's just like balls and strikes. You know, I've done a little bit of it, and you know. There's a pitch taken outside. Fans would be surprised how often the plate umpire actually gets blocked by the catcher.
Sure.
Where you don't actually see the ball as it's crossing the plate.
Sure.
And you still have to make a call.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's the nature of the game.
Sometimes it's the umpire's fault that happens, and sometimes it's the catcher's fault that
right.
happens.
Yeah, and you know,
here's a strike.
Growing up playing these sports, you know, that's the nature of the game. Kind of always taught that the umpires and the officiants are part of the game, and wrong calls are part of the game. So you adjust and you take it with a grain of salt.
Here's a 2-2. That's behind Cam. So he didn't have a chance to hit or get hit on that one. All right, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. We've got a ball 4, and Cam Saunders on down to first base. I think they just got your picture. What do you think?
You were on the webcast.
The pitcher, Austin Warren.
All right, that'll bring Austin Warren to the plate. See if the Athenians choose to stay stationary or run in this situation. Here's the pitch. Nobody moving. Pitch taken for a ball. Bottom of number 6 here, and the Athenians lead it 5-3. But the Panthers have drawn within 2. Had a big inning at the top of the 6th inning. Athenians with 2 men on now and 2 outs. Austin Warren at the plate, swings and lines it, but foul down the third base side. Got a lot of bat. As the old announcer Hawk Harrelson would say, right size, wrong shape.
He saw that one clearly out of the hand. He was ready for it.
He's going to be out as Cam Saunders gets caught off on the old play. Now, that play is actually called a balk now in the major leagues. They don't allow that play anymore.
Isn't that
they
something?
Just took it out, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. And but we just bit. And so nothing across for the Athenians at the bottom of the 6th. So after 6 full innings of play, it's 5 runs on 10 hits and 1 error for the Athenians. And for the Panthers from Park Tudor, 3 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. We're going to let Blake go. Blake, I go back. If anything else you want to throw in here before you go?
I don't think so. I think we covered quite a bit.
Okay. Appreciate bringing that young man up.
Absolutely.
And good luck to you in your coaching and bringing those youngsters up. Hope to see them in Athenian uniforms not too far down the line.
Absolutely.
Blake Harris, good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
Well, by the way, I'll be watching you. So we go to the top of the 7th inning. Athenians trying to pick up win number 15 on the season. Not a large margin to work with, and this is young, very young Mr. Stephen Rice stepping in here.
Not young anymore. I don't feel it. You see all my gray hair? Look at that.
Means nothing.
You're right.
Premature, very premature.
Is that what they
Stephen,
say?
good to have you up here.
Thanks for having me.
I enjoyed you as much as any Athenian player I ever watched over the years, and that's been a few years. But
you still had some good arms roll through here since then, though.
Oh, we have, and been talking a little bit about this young man. Well, better look. I think Austin's still out there, isn't he? Yes. Austin Warren. Like I say, I don't know in competition whether he's reached this level, but I know Rhett had clocked him in practice sessions at as high as 87. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good for a sophomore.
That is really good. I was just looking at him, just last inning. I really like his arm action.
Well, if you could teach him the breaking ball as good as your breaking ball, then we really got something.
Well, I didn't have a good fastball like that either, though, so I had to figure something out.
Your fastball was good enough.
It was.
It was a good high school fastball.
Yeah.
And it seemed to be pretty good down at Vandy, too.
Yeah, it finally did. It took me a little while to get my head back, though, I think.
Well, we did enjoy, as you remember, I think we brought the whole team down and had a chance to watch you and celebrate with you down there, too. Here's pitch taken for a strike.
I've been very fortunate to play on a lot of great teams, even through, 7th grade. 7th grade on, I got to play with some of these guys. So got to play on great teams all through high school. I got to play on more great teams in college.
National championship doesn't get much better than that.
Right. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, too. Played with some great players. You look back at it, and there's 3 or 4 guys in the major leagues right now that I played with. So, just to be on the same field as talent like that's pretty special.
Well, we put Cameron Smith on base by hitting him, so not the start that the Athenian coaching staff had in mind. Pinch runner comes in. I don't have his number listed here, Mike, so I don't have the pinch runners listed on our roster here. So
no, we don't have it.
So anyway, runner on first, nobody down. Austin Warren got to go to work here. Batter represents the tying run. Well, I've asked everyone to give us some kind of a recollection of the 2008 season. So, Stephen, you work that in any way you want to there.
Yeah, I think, that was one of those teams where you knew we had something special, and I think it all really started the game that we lost in. What was that? Was that the regional that we lost here? We popped up the bunt on the suicide squeeze. They turned the double play, and we had a run. We were gonna double suicide.
Yeah.
So the runner from second was gonna go into score too.
Yeah.
And I think from that moment on, I think that's really when our mindset shifted, and we knew we were gonna be a championship ball club, and we knew what it took. And I think we also realized that you just never know, what could happen.
These guys all sound the same, don't they, Mike?
Yes,
they
do. Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
we're all robots.
Well, no, it's exactly what you should, because you guys had a sense of where you were and where you wanted to go, and y'all had enough moxie to make sure you made it happen.
Yeah, and I think
ground ball right side. Sammy's got it. He steps on the bag for out number 1. Runner advances on down to second. So 1 down here in the top of the 7th. Athenians leading 5-3.
I think the most special thing about what we had was we were older, but we weren't seniors. So we had a lot of juniors that were really good. We had Swart, Dow, Harris, Hobson, Justin Wright. You know, we had a lot of guys.
You were one of the few underclassmen.
Yeah, and I was a sophomore that year, freshman. I was a freshman that year. And so, you know, them being juniors and then them having another chance to get that bad taste out of their mouth, they definitely they knew what it took and they weren't going to let that happen again. And, you know, there's a lot of work that's put in before just, you know, the tournament starts.
Well, I tell you, even when we got in those kind of ugly situations, we always knew we had Stephen Rice to come in and put out the fire. And, I mean,
sometimes I created the fire.
Well, you know, many
I started a couple fires for sure.
Many pitchers down through here. In fact, an old pitcher by the name of Dizzy Dean used to kind of brag about the fact that, well, he loaded them up so he could strike out the side with the bases loaded.
Right. I think I did that in the one inning in the state championship too. I remember Mitchell Ray was another guy we had on that team that was a great leader. I remember Mitchell Ray coming out here. I thought he was about to pull me for coach and bring in somebody else, but they let me figure it out.
Coach Welliver to the mound here. Tying run has reached first base as Moore has walked, and so we're going to have a little meeting at the mound and going to say, Austin, this is your ball game. Apparently, I don't know that we're going to go any further with things here.
Yeah, I think
first and second and 1 out.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to keep him here. I mean, he's only 1 pitch away.
Now, you didn't play against this kind of a situation, I don't think, here. Had you noticed this young lady, Jennifer Oberthor?
Yeah, so I got a little bit of the story behind that by one of the coaches. So she was actually playing softball, but then they lost their team because they didn't have enough ladies go out for the team this year.
Okay, that's great because I mentioned, I said, I didn't get a chance to talk to the coaches about that. And I said, she surely had a softball background.
Yep.
Well, I knew there's some reason we had you come up here.
Yeah, so
that's the story.
She was on the softball team. They did not have enough people to field the team. So I actually talked to one of the coaches, and they even said that, you know, she's not a girl just playing baseball. She's a baseball player that's a girl.
Okay.
So apparently
she's handled herself very well here today.
Yeah. She's got a good swing.
Well, we need to strike her out. An 0-2 count here. Let's see what Warren does with this. Breaking ball, way off the plate, but he got her chasing. So a good job there by Austin, and now only 1 out to go. But as they like to say, it's the hardest out in baseball, especially with the leading run at the plate here. Here's a pitch swung on and fouled at the plate. Caleb Thomas. What's Caleb done here?
He has struck out 3 times.
This is a guy to have, maybe. Or, on the other hand, the other team saying, well, he's due.
Yeah. I think we should give him the golden sombrero right here.
There you go. Here's the pitch outside. Count evens at 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, I haven't been here since you guys put the brick wall up. It's beautiful.
I've asked most of the guys about that. Here's a ball that gets by, and the tying run on down to second base. So that's a ball that I don't know which were. It probably is a wild pitch. I don't think it hit the dirt, though. It's one you'd like to have, knowing the situation, especially you'd like to have the ball stop right there at the plate somewhere. But it still remains to Austin to get this last out.
The good thing about this situation, though, he doesn't necessarily.
Here's a swing and a miss on a high.
Pitch.
I don't think it was 87, but he threw it a little harder that time.
He doesn't necessarily have to give him anything to hit either. He can still just pitch to him. He's got an open base. So he's definitely going to pitch for the strikeout here.
Well, Deuce is wild on the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Coming down to the nitty-gritty right here.
I put some money that he's going to throw him a breaking ball right here. What do you think?
Well, you know that crazy pitching coach. You know, he doesn't care what the count is. He knows what pitch he wants to throw.
He might throw him fastball in, though.
He looked bad on that fastball.
Yes, he did.
Too. Here's a pitch. Swing on a miss, and that's a ball game. So a little bit of a situation there, but Austin Warren strikes out the last two hitters to end the ball game. Your Athenians win it 5-3, and the totals end up being 5 runs on 10 hits and 1 error for the Athenians, 3 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error for the visiting Panthers from Park Tudor. So teams crossing home plate there, shaking hands. It's always good to have an ex-Athenian Courtney Whitehead in with his ball club. And we glad to see the Athenians pick up win number 15 on the
There
season.
it is.
Well, I tell you, you were mentioning the brick. This net is very unusual for high school ball. We have the netting from dugout to dugout, which catches a few more balls than the old screen used to.
I think the most impressive thing is just what we've been. I mean, if you just come here, it's beautiful. I mean,
certainly one of the very best in the whole state.
The baseball field, even the football field's great.
Yeah.
And even, I mean, the school looks great in the background too. I mean, it's a nice place to want to come play some baseball at for sure.
Yep. It is indeed, and now, thanks to guys like Stephen Wright, you can look out there and see that state champions.
Yep.
And followed up the 2008 with the 2011, and we're hoping to build that kind of a ball club again, Stephen. These kids, they're growing with the game, and like we mentioned, only 2 seniors on this team.
Mm-hmm.
4 sophomores playing virtually all the time.
Right.
And I hear we've got some good young talent coming. So I think you're going to see a real strong Athenian ball club for the next few years to come.
You know, I think something you got to look at, too, is with these young guys, they're going to have a lot of varsity experience. And so you're going to have a similar situation to what I came up with as a freshman and sophomore. You know, you're going to have guys who've had that experience on varsity and won some games. And, you know, that really does go a long way. Yeah. And, you know, sometimes it takes you getting your butt kicked a couple times for you to really realize.
Well, that's happened here.
Well, it's going to happen in the game no matter what, even if you're the best team.
We went to Tennessee again this year.
Yep.
A lot of wetness.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of what I'm telling you, really, truthfully, was due to the fact kids in the outfield were running in water, literally, and we couldn't get anywhere to catch a ball.
Right.
But they got beat 18-1 after winning the first 2 games. They got beat 18-1, but they had me say a little something down there since it was my 80th birthday, and
I figured you were only 60.
Cha-ching. But I gave them a little break. I said, I think I played on the Athenian team that suffered the worst loss in 1956, and we only lost 3 games. But the second part of that story is we only played a dozen that year, so we were 93. But I mean, we were winning more than we lost.
Right.
But we went to Lebanon.
Okay.
You have to appreciate this. Back in our day, Lebanon had lights, you know, and, well, actually Lafayette Jeff did too. But the lights over Lebanon really were not very good for baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making excuses, okay. But anyway, we got beat 25-1. And we didn't have a 10-run rule, you see. That made it awkward also.
That's one of those games where you're waiting for it to be over.
And we had a good ball game with them over here at Crawfordsville, but we played in the daylight. We could handle that a little bit.
I've been in a few of those lopsided games, but either way, you're always ready for them to be over.
Hey, to round it up here, tell us a little bit about your Vandy experience.
Oh, yeah, Vandy was an incredible experience. Just the thing that was the most different, and I wouldn't say that, you know, the structure behind what we were doing was so much different than what we were doing here. It's very similar as far as like your practice schedules and stuff like that. I would say the biggest difference is just the kind of talent that you're playing with, and then, you know, just mentally figuring out how you can find a way on the team. And so, you know, I was very fortunate.
Travel is
gone
a little while, you know.
Yeah, travel's
I don't
crazy.
know how that works with classes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
So the way it works is you get there, depends. So if you play a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, you'd get there Wednesday night, do practice. If not, you would get there Thursday night, practice on the field, do your little walkthrough, whatever, and then you play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. And then you pack your stuff up right after that game Sunday, go to class. So you'd end up missing class. It depending on how far the drive was, you could miss classes Thursday, Friday. But you were pretty much always missing class Friday if you were traveling. Yeah. So it was awesome.
I won't get into the story, but I can relate to that with a little college ball experience I had. But anyway. Okay, now, to finish it off, if you would, tell us a little bit about what's going on in your life right now.
Yeah, so I not recently, I've been working at this place called Wheels Up for about a year. And so what we do is private aviation. Yep. So we help families get one place to another, without having to do the commercial travel thing. It's been there about a year. Still single, living life.
Even the PA guy, David, makes sure that all the young ladies here today knew that.
I think a lot of the girls here might be a little too young for me, though.
Don't want to prejudge that situation now. Well, I tell you, Stephen, I tell you, and I'm very honest in saying that I enjoyed watching you play as much as any player that ever went through the program here at Crawfordsville. I always felt like that there was something in your character that when you stepped into, it's like you relished stepping into a difficult situation on the mound, never backed off from it. Never. One of the things I always watch for is this kid. He's in trouble now. Is he looking over at the dugout for help all the time? Well, you may have had a pitching coach come out and talk to you, or Coach Roach come out and talk to you, or something there once in a while. But basically, you were up for the challenge, whatever it may be.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of get to be another person when you're out there on the mound. You get to kind of shed off what who you are as a person in real life, and you get to be a competitor. And I think that's something I always love to do. Is I just love to go out and compete and just throw it out. It's almost like you get to be somebody else and do things that you can't do when you're not playing ball. And I love that feeling, and I love to do it. And even to this day, I'm still ultra competitive in what I'm doing. Even if it's just playing video games with my buddies, or just playing wiffle ball in the backyard.
You better be playing with the young ladies.
No, I don't think any girls play video games anymore.
Oh. Stephen, thanks for coming
up. Thank you so much.
You're going to stay and eat and all that, aren't you?
Yeah, I think so. I won't be able to make it to the banquet tonight. Okay. My sister's doing a graduation dinner. So
you better do that.
Also wanted to thank you for doing this. This is always a pleasure.
Well, we started in 2008.
Yep.
Only audio at that time, but yeah. Well, we appreciate it, and it's been a lot of fun for us doing it. It is frustrating, as I was talking earlier. We still have our problems. We sometimes can't get on right. We either don't have a picture right or we don't have the sound right. It's still there.
It's all right. It's still
Not
there.
Not as bad as the old days, though, because we never knew where we were sitting at. Throw a table down on the ground somewhere and try to get it hooked up and try to go.
No, I know that the city of Crawfordsville also appreciates it, so they can stay tuned in what's going on when they can't make the game. So.
And even the players go back.
And listen to it and watch it.
So, yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Thanks for being here.
So much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Keep flying.
Thank you so much.
Michael, step on in here. Well,
I'll be back in town tonight. We're just going to eat dinner and come back home.
We still have some things going here as players getting ready for a JV type situation going on here in a little bit, and then varsity players be getting something to eat, and later on this evening kind of have a banquet style get together at 5 o'clock over in the cafeteria area school. So a lot's still going here today, Mike. Well, Mike, how did you see that ball game?
Well, I was looking over this while you and Steve
were watching
talking.
Better than I was.
Yeah, this game. I mean, it ended up close, 5-3, but they actually had runners in scoring position every inning, and we got out of some jams.
I remember they were only one behind us. We had 10 hits, they had 9.
Right. Yes.
So, yeah.
But we got out of a lot of innings where they had second and third in the third inning, 2 runners left on in the first inning. I can just go on down here and say that it was we got out of a lot of jams.
Well, we used a lot of pitchers today.
Yes.
And I think that can work either way. Sometimes, the guy goes in there and knows, well, I've only got an inning or 2, and really relax and everything like that. But I think sometimes too, things move around like that, and I don't know, maybe you're not quite loose when you go in a situation like that.
I think that could have something to do with it. Yes. Yeah.
But anyway, good to get win number 15 on the season.
15.
And big week next week.
Yes, big.
I need to look up that schedule here, see if I can find it.
Oh, I got it in my mind.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
We've got, we go to North Monday at 7. They come here Tuesday at 7. And then I believe it's Friday.
Friday against Frankfurt.
Frankfurt comes in.
I don't know. I think that's still 6 o'clock.
I believe it is, as far as I know.
Anyway, the Tuesday and Friday we will webcast.
Yes.
And so that'll, of course, finish up the season as far as conference play goes.
Yes.
Well, that last game, right now, we'll be playing against a team that's
number 1,
first place, and that may still determine, the conference champion at that point.
And we're
not out of it totally mathematically. Obviously, North Montgomery's in it. They're were they 1 or 2 games ahead of us? I can't even
one
remember.
Maybe now. They lost to Tri-West, I believe, the other day, 10-5.
They did. That's exactly right. So that's it's going to be an interesting situation. But anyway, today we're going to wrap it up and kind of join in some of this other stuff that's going on.
Yes, I'm enjoying listening to you, trying to keep the book and listen to you talk to the boys because, like I say, they kind of grew up with me in the background, and I want to make one comment just about Andrew Swart wasn't here.
Right.
Okay? I remember, in fact, Rhett was coaching. We were playing in some kind of a state tournament. We were over towards Indy somewhere, and we lost a heartbreaker by 1 run. And Andrew made a comment after that game that we would win at least 1 state championship before they were through.
Okay.
And
he had that right.
And he had that right.
Yeah. Well, when you do these things, you always have some people who can't get here.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're sorry that he couldn't make it.
Right.
But,
he was
great young
key.
Man, and certainly one of the great pitchers.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, I was running through the pitching stats with Steven, I think. Maybe a couple other guys. But anyway, just great numbers. And
yes.
We look forward to maybe these young guys stepping up to that level somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
And a lot of baseball left this year. You never know where this ends. As we've said from the beginning, this sectional is going to be wide open this year.
It is. It
really is. Well, we're going to call it off for today, but we look forward to being back with you next Tuesday. Again.
Okay. They tell me that Cody Dow's coming up.
Oh, we got another one. All right.
Get to talk to Cody before.
Right. Well, I wondered about Cody because I knew he was here.
Yeah.
And
so
we're going to hang on to that.
We didn't get Lenny up here either. Brett Lynn didn't make it up.
Yeah. He's surely not shy. Maybe he had to leave.
Maybe.
I don't know. All right. Well, we're going to hang on a little bit longer then as we have Cody Dowell moving in.
Close this down without Cody coming up.
Well, I'm glad you made it, Cody. By golly, I sat here wondering. I said, I know he's here. I saw him out on the field.
Oh, yeah, I was in the dugout.
Hey, I want to run through some of the same stuff I've been talking with the other guys about, but it's been interesting to hear how common your answers are from one another. But anyway, think back to that 2008 year and bring us kind of what are the main things that stick out in your memory.
The group of guys, that 08 team, we grew up together. Started probably 6, 7 years old, and that was our goal from the get-go was winning state. And had a good chance sophomore year, came up a little bit short, but I mean, we just stuck together and we knew that's what we wanted to do, and then finally have it happen. I mean, we had a good feeling all year that, we had a really good chance, and we put it all together that year and everything felt good. Just a dominant year. Yeah, that's basically what the other guys expressed, is the fact that you had been together a long time, and you guys had got to a point where you believed in yourself and you had the confidence to go out and play unafraid, and 32-4 on the season. Oh, yeah. And won basically everything that was possible to win that year. So that's something obviously you'll never forget. And I tell you, we started the webcast that year where we did audio only, so we enjoyed going along, riding along with you on that. I don't know how often you've had a chance to come back to the ballpark here, but one of the things the guys that have been away for a while have a chance to notice and see, even though it was a very good field when you played here, how much better even the field is today. It's real good shape.
And,
looks amazing.
I did tell them, and I'll let you expound on this a little bit. I did tell them this brick job around here was responsible of a guy by the name of Dow.
Mike? Oh, yeah. Yeah, my cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, this brick, it looks really, really good.
Well, Mike was an old Athenian baseball pitcher himself.
Oh, yeah, see, I didn't know that.
Well, there you go. Now, he probably couldn't throw the ball as hard as he will tell you he could throw the ball, but I will vouch for the fact he did throw the ball hard. Okay. He had a very good arm, as did you.
Thank you.
I think the Dow family, all the way on both sides there, I think you all came with that endowed. But I want to talk about the fact that when we talk about Athenian third baseman, that the guys that have been around and watch and know will tell you you're right at the top of the list as far as third baseman. And part of that is due to that good arm you had. You come up throw, but had good hands, fielded the ball. You were aggressive. You knew if I got the ball to the left over there anywhere where I could reach it, it's mine. And fielded the bunt well. Made all the plays down there. And a good man at the plate along with it. So, third baseman Cody Dow was, if we made a list of third baseman, you're going to be right at the top.
I appreciate it.
I can say that in the year 1954, I was third baseman for Crawfordsville. So
oh, yeah?
I weighed all of 110 pounds. And that's the truth. But anyway, what I was going to ask you next is a little bit about, what's going on in your life now. I see those youngsters down there.
Oh, yeah, we got quite the little family going. I got my wife of 3 years, been together for 4.5. We have 4 kids. My oldest daughter's Lakin, she's 8.
Okay.
My son Caden's 5. Hadley's 3, and then my wife and I just recently had another baby boy. He's 3 months. So.
Well, that's enough to keep you very, very busy.
Oh yeah.
What else is going on?
I work here in Crawfordsville at the California Pellet Mill.
Okay, I heard that. That's in my neighborhood that I grew up at.
Okay.
So I know right what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm a shipping supervisor over there. Just recently moved to New Ross.
Okay.
My wife and I bought that's where she's from, so we bought a house out there. And other than that, almost every day busy with ball of some sort.
Okay.
Their kids are getting to that age where it's sports are starting to happen, in multiple sports, not just one. So.
Well, I tell you, you'll meet yourself coming and going with all that, but it's all good. And just remember, it's the parental role is so very, very important. They need the parent support doing those things.
Yeah.
I feel very sad every once in a while when I see a youngster coming up and they're kind of there doing it on their own. And, Parents can get in the way once in a while. I can say that, but on the whole, they need to be there supporting your kids. So yeah, you got a job in front of you, but I know you do a good job, Cody.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, 2008, a year you'll never forget, and something that we hope you get to come back here to this. Even though right now you're living in Mountie land.
Yeah, it's true.
But I know a whole lot about that too. So anyway, this is a program that you can be proud to have been a part of, and you still are a part of.
Oh yes.
Well, I have had a long day up here, and I'm barely able to talk.
Oh yeah, that's
so
fine.
I'm going to let you go, but I'm really glad you're here. And I don't know, you going to stick around and eat or?
Oh yeah, we ate a little bit earlier. I think we might go watch some film. Coach Fro just asked if we wanted to watch some film, so I think we might be going and doing that.
Sounds good. So. Okay, hey, good luck. I know I'll be seeing you.
All righty.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Cody Dow, third baseman on the state champion baseball team of 2008. So I think that about does it for today. We'll see you next Tuesday at 7 o'clock here at Athenian Field. And then again Friday for the last conference game against the Frankfurt Hot Dogs. And that also currently scheduled for a 6 o'clock ball game as we normally play. So this is Dan Welver again saying the Athenians victorious today by a score of 5-3 over Park Tudor. And until next Tuesday, good afternoon and good baseball.